All right, it is now time for the first fantasy show of the year. Obviously, we are going into week two, as we did not have one last week to start the season, but we will go over the week one matchups, and there was quite a few interesting ones. As you can see here, starting at the top, my loss to Zombie 108.8 to 110.82. This one hurts a lot, as it was very similar to how my season started last year, where all I needed was my quarterback to just do something, and I would have won. However, he went down early on the third play of the game and did not come back. So then that left Garrett Wilson to try to get Zombie the 10 points that he needed to get the win, and I was surviving. And then, in typical Monday night fashion, on the final drive of the game for the Jets in the fourth quarter, he catches an unbelievable touchdown catch to give Zombie the win. So GG's to Zombie. Our matchup was one of the higher scoring ones of the week, and it wasn't even that high scoring, 108 to 110, but it wasn't some of these other shit fests, so a little bit unlucky to both of us having to play each other. But regardless, GG's to Zombie. Big win for him to start the year. Tough loss for me to take. But we will keep on fighting and hopefully not go down the same trend as last year, even though it is starting very, very eerie, similar to last season. So we will see now that I have to replace a quarterback, how that will go throughout the next couple weeks. To everybody that was inquiring today about me trading my top players for a quarterback, that is not going to happen. So anybody, including some people in this party that were trying to get Justin Jefferson for a quarterback, that is not going to happen, as there is plenty of other quarterback options that I will try first before I eventually
Yeah,
possibly
Rat.
think of entertaining to trade Justin
What?
Jefferson for a
I don't know who
quarterback.
he's talking about.
I'm talking about
That was
pussy.
me. That
Yes,
was me.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we will try these other options first, and then see. If I'm 0 and 4 or 0 and 5 and in panic mode, then all bets are off once you're in panic mode. But hopefully we don't get to that. I liked how my team performed. They all performed pretty well. I mean, really, it was only the quarterback
Oh,
getting 0 and the defense getting -4 that cost me. I mean, I got 18 from my kicker, 10 from Kenneth Walker. He looked decent, just didn't get in the end zone. Hawkinson had 11. Metcalf caught a touchdown and had 13. Jefferson didn't get in the end zone, but he had a huge game with 9 receptions for 24. Connor had a decent looking game, looked pretty good, getting some decent yards, getting 12 points. I'll take that from him every time. And Pollard had a huge game with 2 touchdowns. So everybody performed getting over 10 points very well. Just the 0 from the quarterback you can't have, and defense getting -4 didn't help. On
What the fuck
Zombie
is this
side,
gay ass trade that's pending?
yeah, we'll
Oh my
get to that.
god.
We'll get to that in a minute. On Zombie side, Herbert had a good starting game, even though they lost, 20 points. Eckler had another huge game as well with 26, although he might be banged up now. Shocker. Jamal Williams had a stinker, didn't look that
I
great.
hope he's banged up.
Wilson obviously pulled it out for him with the 14. We'll see how Wilson does now going forward. That Travis Kelce trade for Wilson now is a little bit interesting, as Kelce might be back, and we don't know how Garrett Wilson will do now with Zach Wilson as his quarterback. Waddle in that huge offensive showdown. It was the Hill show, so that's got to be a little concerning for Zombie that Hill got all the points and not Waddle. Schultz had a horrible game as he traded away Kelsey for him. Devontae Smith had a nice game
Oh,
though. Graham Gano -2. That gave me a chance to win this one until Monday night came around, and the Saints defense looked pretty good. But overall, congrats to Zombie on a week one. Anybody want to make any comments about this
Me.
game? All right, go
uh,
ahead.
okay, Rat, you go.
Go ahead.
Zombie got
It's
bailed
only fitting
out.
that Rat gets the first comment since he's the one that jinxed this fucker. But go ahead.
Um, I'm sorry, golfer, for jinxing it.
Hmm.
You deserve the win.
Oh,
Zombie
no
got
shit.
bailed out.
Hmm.
Um, Zombie's team's not that good. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, when we go over the waivers in a minute, we'll
Well,
mention how
I will
he
say
did
this
get
about
a certain player to help him in case that clears out.
I'll,
Go ahead,
I'll say this about
Cheese.
all matchups. It's a very one week doesn't make or break your season.
That is true. That is true.
And if especially with golfer, if you had a quarterback who scored literally 15 points, you're fine.
Not even that.
So
Just 3 points. But
yeah, and
yes.
I think you can ease. I think your waiver wire quarterback. I think all you really need is a quarterback who gets like between 12 and 15, and
Yeah.
you'll be
Hopefully
fine going
so.
forward.
We'll see.
Um,
I had the same outlook after the heartbreak of Week One last year when
Can I make one
Prescott
more
got hurt.
comment?
okay, but I have to
However,
say Tony
however, then it
Can
Pollard.
went
I
downhill with more
No, Rat, I'm
injuries.
talking.
can I
Tony
make one more
Pollard.
comment?
Let me
Hold on, we'll
talk.
come back to you.
Okay.
Tony
Uh,
Pollard is going to be like top five running backs. Like it's a
I
great
hope
pick.
so.
Jefferson's going to continue to pop off. You get a serviceable quarterback, you're just fine. I think it's way better situation
Thank you,
than last year.
Cheese. Thank you, Cheese. All right, Rat.
Shut the hell up,
Look,
fake rat.
at the end of the day, with Rodgers getting hurt, it
Yes.
doesn't help Zombies team Garrett Wilson. So even though there might be
Well, it helped him
mishap
enough to get
involved with
14 in
team,
this last
that's
game.
fair,
Yeah, but
you
one
know,
win doesn't make your
but-
season.
That is
What
true.
if he
But
loses
I
the
think
next
Zombie
10?
gets fucked at the end too. So it's good
Okay.
that Zombie gets fucked. 'Cause
All
fuck
right.
Zombie.
Rat, shut the
Zombie,
hell up.
any comments on your win that some people are calling lucky? Because it was
Well,
lucky.
I mean, yeah, but you just knew some shit was gonna happen yesterday with the way fucking the Jets always. The Jets have worse luck than my Chargers, which is kind of hard to do.
That is true. Yep. All
Imagine-
I know is I will never draft another quarterback that plays week 1 on Monday Night Football. I will never do that again. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes falls in the 6th round and he plays on Monday night, I will not be taking him. So
Whoa.
that is a new precedent that I will be setting for my team in the future.
So you have a no Monday night rule. You have a injury list rule.
Yes.
Phone injury.
Well, when you keep getting fucked by all these crazy circumstances on the opening week, you have to create all these rules, Zombie. So, but congrats to you. Like we said, moving on to the next matchup, one that was a shit fest, as we had Matt versus Pussy. Pussy picks up a comfortable win, 89-78. Yikes. Both these teams did ass.
Shut the hell up.
Looking at Matt's team, who Matt has deemed the next Cam Newton, well, he sure played like Cam Newton, getting only 9 points, so that's a
true.
fitting name, very fitting. Najee Harris continued to prove Cheese right with another shit game, so he didn't look good. J.K. Dobbins, you hate to see it. Always J.K. always getting hurt, and is probably now done for the rest of the year, so that hurts, as he was looking good before, like he always does.
Yeah,
and gets hurt.
he's JK all day at the hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
Yup,
Stephon Diggs was the one bright spot for Matt's team, as he looked really good and had Cheese regretting his not drafting him this year during the
He
game.
was picked ahead of me. He was
Okay,
picked ahead
well,
of me,
you
okay?
were
I never
regretting
had a
it. You
chance.
did say during the game,
Look,
God, I wish I
my-
would have had Stephon
Well,
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is cool to have now, but then when
Okay.
it fucking snows during the playoffs and he scores very little points,
Mhm.
then you get pissed off.
Okay. Devontae Adams, just a mediocre game from his standards. David Njoku with only 4 points. T. Higgins with a goose egg. That's got to be a little concerning. Although it was only the first game of the year for the Bengals, I'm sure they'll be better on offense moving forward. Bucker with 9, and his defense got him 0 on that high-scoring slugfest against Chargers. On Pussy's side, it wasn't much better. Kirk Cousins had a decent game, 16 from him, not too bad. Chubb with also a decent game. James Cook had some bright moments in the game, but only got 10. Amari Cooper only got 6 and got injured, so we'll see if he's okay. Godwin with 10, also mediocre. Kyle Pitts looking like the normal Kyle Pitts that we all know with only 6. Jahan Dotson with only 9, McManus with only 8.5, and the defense for the Broncos got 5. So overall, a very mediocre Pussy lineup, but it was good enough to get the win, and that's really all that matters as he starts 1-0. Matt's team, everybody had a lot of concerns for after the draft, and it's kind of looking that way, especially with Dobbins out now. We'll see. Matt was already short on running backs, so we'll see what he does. Now, he's going to have to play Cam Akers unless he makes a trade. So, yeah, it was a rough matchup week 1. A lot of low-scoring NFL games, so you'll see a lot of low-scoring NFL fantasy teams, and this was one of them. Pussy, your comments on getting the week 1 win, though?
I don't recognize it as a victory.
Okay.
I recognize it as a bad week.
A bad week, okay.
I
Well,
got
that's
lucky.
good. At least you're not talking shit saying your team is the best and going to win the league, so at least you recognize
it's
that.
far from that at this point.
Okay. Well, you do have a trade pending, which we'll go over after the matchup, so maybe that can help you out some. Anybody else have any comments on this shit fest?
As most people predicted, these are the 2 worst teams in the league.
Ooh, okay. Zach's team was thrown in there. Zach's team was thrown in there as well.
Well, I said Matt. I thought Matt's was, and it proved me right because as I correctly predicted, I had no faith in his running backs.
I can fix that.
Rat, you gotta let people finish talking.
Rat, let Cheese have a say, and then we will go to you.
This is how the show works.
I'm sorry.
You ass bit. Okay.
Whoa.
As predicted, Najee Harris was terrible. As I said he was. Maybe you could say he got unlucky with Geno. Just a bad week for him. But
Yeah.
otherwise, he really needed the wide receivers to save him. And when one of them has a bad day, it's not good for your team.
Okay.
So I think he has a lot of work to be done, but it's still salvageable
Okay.
because he can trade one of his big wide receivers for running back help
Yep, that
and
is
make it a
true.
much more complete team.
Although, as he put in the chat earlier today, he's not going to give
Well,
up
yeah,
his big wide
not for
receivers for
pennies,
dog
but
shit.
I feel like you could trade Devontae Adams or T. Higgins for like a
Mhm.
very low end
Well,
RB1.
I don't know if you can trade T. Higgins after week 1. You're
He'll
going to have to
bounce
wait
back.
for a
You think
bounce back
you
game
think he's
and then
getting
trade him.
0?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's ways to go. It's like he's not fucked.
Okay. All right. Well, you have some optimism for him. All right.
I
So
don't know
no
any
optimism on Pussy's side?
I mean, Chubb is obviously good. Cook is fine, but his wide receiver, it's like the opposite. His wide receivers are shit.
He just traded
Yeah.
half his team away.
Yeah, and he just traded half his team, so I can't really make an analysis
Yeah,
since
yeah.
that trade
We'll
is
go over
process.
that after this. Yeah. Okay. Rat.
I'm gonna stick up for Matt here.
Okay.
He's being a hypocrite.
Oh.
Um,
Okay. Well, he did say
He
Matt's
said-
team was the
hold
worst
on.
after the draft,
He-
so he's not a
he
hypocrite.
did say it was the worst, but 1 week does not make or break your team, so you can't be saying it's
Okay,
the
but
worst yet.
I accurately knew how the running backs everybody could tell.
I
from a
mean,
mile
he's
away.
not saying anything he didn't already say before. He
Yeah, but
said
fair.
Matt's team was the worst, and it looked really bad.
He also
Fair,
does have Mike
but
Evans on the
Dobbins
bench,
also
so
got
a lot
hurt.
of trade capital
Coulda-
for him to
Could
get
have
running
went a
backs.
different way. I will
Okay,
say
but
that
even if Dobbins doesn't get hurt, Najee
Uh,
is so bad.
it was in a
Well-
bad team, yes, but
I mean, one thing
the
I will
guy
say
he
about
played
not
also
hold
didn't
on.
also do shit. So.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Najee is you got to throw out everything Pittsburgh did in that first game because they're playing one of the best teams in.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I'm
NFL.
saying. Yeah,
They're
Najee
right.
could bounce back, and Matt has Mike Evans on the bench as well, who's very solid for a lot of teams. A lot of trade capital to improve those running backs.
Okay, so you have some
Listen,
optimism. Okay.
I did not say Matt's team was the worst.
Okay.
It was between Pusa and Zach for me.
Okay.
Now, I
Well,
think
Pussy's
it's
1-0,
clear.
so.
I think
Who's
it's clear
Well, I
Zach's
mean, he
team
played
was the
Matt.
worst in the league.
okay?
Look, Poose is 1-0 because he played Matt.
Okay.
How
fair
about that?
enough.
Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How many did he score?
Pretty
He
bet on
scored
the
more than
shit.
Tyler, and that
Matt was the lowest
Tyler
scoring
still has
team
a
of the week.
1%
And Bill,
chance to
and
win.
Bill, and Bill, and
Matt was the lowest scoring team of the week.
I scored more
Oh
than
yeah,
Bill.
you scored more than Bill. Yeah. So.
Well, you can look at the report, right? The report was in the report. Tell you like the lowest scoring
Yeah.
team. and
So
all
you did outscore a couple people, but 89 points. If you keep scoring that, you ain't
No,
gonna get
that's
too
why
many.
I said it was a bad
I
week.
know. I know.
Don't give
I
me
know.
shit.
I mean, Matt
Well, I
only
mean, we're
scored
gonna give
one
you shit
less
because that's
than
just part of this.
Tyler.
So, when people
That
call your
doesn't
team
score.
ass after the draft and then you only score 89 week 1, they're gonna
Well,
continue
I'm
to
gonna
give you
have
shit.
I'm gonna have a comment after I
Okay.
get two approves. Once
Okay.
I get 6
Fair-
approves,
fair
I'll have a comment on my
Well,
roster.
we can go over the trade after the recaps,
Yeah,
and then maybe
okay.
some live approves.
Well,
will
the
happen.
trade hasn't even gone through because you refused to vote.
So we
Alright.
will wait
Okay.
until it's.
All right.
we
Let's
can-
let's keep this moving. All right. Moving
Why do
on
we
to the
wait
next
for
matchup.
trades now?
Moving on to the next matchup, we have Bill versus Tyler in another shit bowl fest. But this one came down to Monday night, as I think Bill, he was talking a lot of shit before Monday night. He thought he had this thing wrapped up, and then it got very, very tight as Josh Allen, 9 points, looked absolutely horrible, had 3 interceptions and a fumble, and that fumble put Bill behind Tyler late in the fourth quarter going into overtime. Luckily, Allen got enough freaking yards and garbage time points to get him back ahead of Tyler, just barely, to avoid one of the absolute worst losses we would have ever saw, besides somebody else that we'll get to in a minute. So he has nicknamed Josh Allen Ryan Tannehill, which is very fitting because they both look like absolute dog shit this week. Stevenson had a decent game, 14. Montgomery got into the end zone, outscored Gibbs, so that was decent for Bill. McLaurin only got 5, so that didn't look good. Hopkins got 13, had a decent game. He picked up Likely after Andrews was out and nicknamed him the Black Andrews, and he did the total opposite. I'm sure Bill was calling him an N-word after the game when he only got him 1 point. Sky Moore, who he started in his flex for Thursday Night Football, only got 0.4 points. Yeah. And I mean, his defense was the one bright spot of the team, got 15. But other than that, a lot of yikes performances from Bill's side. So, like we said with Pussy, to score this little and get a win, you cannot be feeling very confident. On Tyler's side, it wasn't any better as Lamar Jackson had a stinker first game. Who saw that coming? Only 6.56 points. Yikes. Madison looked decent, maybe the one bright spot. Pierce with only 6. Hollywood Brown with only 8. Higbee, who he was talking up saying projection-wise, he was going all off about these projections, how, oh, projection-wise, it's only this different than Cooper Kupp. Well, you definitely didn't see the difference because frickin' he only got 7.9 points, and I
I mean,
think
that's not
Cooper
that's
Kupp.
not bad for a tight
Well,
end.
for a tight end, it ain't bad, but when you're hoping he replaces wide receiver status
Well,
of
yeah.
losing Cooper Kupp, we all know Cooper Kupp is probably getting more than 7.9 points. So, yeah, that didn't work. CeeDee Lamb started out the game good, but they just got up way too much that it just became a run game. So they didn't really need CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks, who he chose to start, he had a tough decision. Who was he deciding between? Cooks and...
Was it Zay?
It was Cooks and Gabe Davis. Well, Gabe Davis didn't do much better. He only got 5.2, so it didn't really matter his decision. Actually, wait. No, it did matter because the 5.2 is 1 whole point more than what 4.2. So he would have got 1 extra point, which would have beat Bill. So that decision did actually matter. If he would have started the Gabe Davis on Monday night instead of Cooks on Sunday night, he would have actually pulled out the victory. Damn. So that tight of margins in fantasy football on who to start and who not. Myers with only 7.8. Defense, though, looked good with Washington got 13. But overall, both these teams just had horrible performing weeks. I think it's pretty easy to say they both need bounce backs, but one person had to win, and Bill got the win, so he's 1-0. Comments from anybody? Jeez.
I'll comment.
Okay, Rat, go ahead.
Bill, we got some
ahead,
major
Pusa.
improving to do if we're gonna make a
Oh.
run this season.
Mm.
I mean, this is just I get sick even talking about how I
Well,
won last week.
He did do major improvements last year when he started out like 0-5, so maybe he can do it again this year. At least he's starting out 1-0, so he's not going to go 0-5 to start the year with
I don't know.
this team.
I believe in
I'll
Bill's
say.
team.
I'll
Okay.
say what I have to say.
Okay, go ahead, Rat.
You believe in Bill's team?
I think Bill got unlucky because when we were watching the game last night, I think we saw Josh Allen was like trolling hard, and Josh Allen will never put up 9 points again this season.
Okay, that's
So I
a
do
hot
think
take.
Bill has a better, a hot take.
I mean,
I
he's Ryan
think
Tannehill according to Bill.
Well,
He
that's
could
true.
score 9 points again easily.
I mean, Bill's team with Kelsey coming back and all, it's not
Yeah,
not
he
the
does need
worst,
Kelsey.
so-
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you yes, Kelsey. You plug in.
It has a
Nick
solid
Collins.
team, but not a
Oh, the
Jesus,
echo.
who's
The
echoing? Who's echoing?
zombie.
Zombie, buddy.
Can you fix that shit? Thank you.
You.
Okay,
So
so some
all around
optimism.
fun for Bill.
Okay, all right.
But Tyler,
Yeah.
Cooper Cup unlucky injury. Damian Pierce is kind of trash.
Okay.
So Tyler might need to make some.
I mean, they're
improvements.
both in kind of similar situations. You got to hope your quarterback does better,
Yeah.
and you plug in your bench guys.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
Lamar,
mean, they definitely need some improvement from the quarterback position, which they should get in future weeks. But I mean, they have some definite question marks in their lineup, and they did not perform week 1. So, Pussy, you have any comments for this?
Just the point that we got to improve our team, Bill, if we're going to
Okay.
make a run this
All
year.
right. Okay, so nothing on the top front. All right, moving on
Yeah.
to I would call it a little bit of a shocker of the week 1. Ernie picking up a huge blowout win over
That a
Pook,
baby?
137-90. Pook only scored
Go
90
Ernie.
on opening
Way to
week.
be, Ernie, way to be.
And Ernie's team with a huge performance, so I'm sure he's feeling really good. On Pook's side, only 90 points. Justin Fields looked pretty ass, only got 14. Jahmyr Gibbs, one of his talented high draft picks, only got 8. We'll see if he gets more snaps. He started Pacheco and only got 9 as well on Thursday Night Football. Chris Olave did have a good game, though. He looked good with 19. Deontay Johnson, who he drafted and only got 7.8 and also picked up an injury and now might not play. Darren Waller, who he talked up pretty highly during the draft and took, only got 6.6 in that blowout against the Cowboys. Bijan Robinson, who he has put ha 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 fuck you zombie, he was the one bright spot for Pook getting 20. Although we did mention that we will be comparing Bijan to McCaffrey and Eckler throughout the whole year because he took him ahead of both of them, and I believe they both scored more points, didn't they? How many did McCaffrey get?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
McCaffrey
so
had a
25.
great
okay,
day.
so he's already
Mhm.
behind on that prediction of taking him ahead of those two guys. So we'll see how that works out for the rest of the year. But it was a good game from Bijan. He did look good with the 20 points. Will Lutz had a rough game. I mean, Graham Gano had a worse, but Will Lutz only 1.4 points, not good. And the Steelers defense with only 3. On Ernie's side, I mean, who didn't do very good on Ernie's side? He had a solid performance from Lawrence, huge game from McCaffrey to outshine Bijan. Derrick Henry with a solid game. Calvin Ridley really was the week 1 standout, as everybody wanted to see how Ridley would do, and he popped off with Lawrence. I mean, I don't know what happened to Christian Kirk, but he was MIA that game, and it was the Ridley show with a huge game, 24 points.
Excuse me.
Mike Williams probably the one downside to Ernie's team, only 8.5, didn't really look that good. He started Laporte for Thursday night, which got a solid performance, outscored Waller, so that's a plus. Jordan Addison, the new Justin Jefferson according to Ernie, did look good, got 16 points, got a deep touchdown catch, so we'll see if he can continue that. That'll be a big boost to Ernie's flex position if Jordan Addison can keep putting up numbers. Tucker with just an average game by his standards, and the Philly defense against Pook, the Philly fan, 16 huge points
Get
in the
fucked.
opening week. So a big statement win for Ernie to start his season. I'm sure he will hold that one over Pook for a while. It is, like we said, though, only week 1, so Ernie will have to rein it in and keep going forward. But Ernie's in a very good position lineup-wise. He has a very good, solid team. He's got a quarterback that a lot of people would like to have, so that drafting back-to-back quarterbacks might actually work for him, as he can use it now as bait over a few people. So it seems like everything's starting out the season right for Ernie so far. We'll see if it continues that way, though. Anyone have comments on this matchup?
I feel like I
Go ahead,
deserve the first comment. 'cause
Okay, go
Why?
ahead.
Pook
Shut
has
the
the whole
fuck up.
league against me for one
Mm.
reason.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right
Being
now in
annoying.
this
Because
thing.
you're a scammer and you're
No.
an annoying bitch.
Okay, zombie, shut your mouth. I'm talking. This is part of the show.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Pook, when you send a trade to somebody and you
Yes.
don't want it anymore 4 hours later,
Yep.
there's a button called withdraw.
Yep.
So stop being a bitch.
I
stop
totally
being a
agree with
clown,
you.
and there
I
you
saw
go.
nothing you did wrong in that trade.
And
I
Just
just
for
think
the
that
record.
if you
Pook, I like your team. I like
And
your team,
let's
but
let's also
okay.
wait. One other thing about this. Let's also
Go ahead.
not forget, you can still cancel trades in this league.
Exactly.
So he not only had the opportunity to withdraw the
Mhm.
trade 4 hours later, but he
Mhm.
still had the opportunity to cancel it as the voting was happening. And
Yep.
he was late to both
And
parties.
he's
So
called me a
that's
scammer.
so
That was his
that's I
fault.
mean, you can't
I will
blame the
say-
person for doing accepting a trade
I
that
just
is out
think
there.
that if I was red, that's bad sportsmanship, and Pook would never trade me
That-
again
that's
the whole
Okay,
year.
but let's
Sportsmanship when you're
reverse
playing
the
for money?
situation. Hold on, let's reverse the situation.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
Pook was in that situation and he pulled that
Mhm.
move, which is definitely a move that Pook could pull, would he cancel and reverse the trade? I do not believe he would. I think
I
he
just
would say
think
tough
that
break, and that's just
it
how it goes.
happens, but it just you
I
have
also
to
have other
think of the
comments that
consequences that Pook will never trade.
I like his team.
Okay, but how many trades does Pook make each year?
This is true.
So
I like
is
it.
that
Fair.
really
This is
that big
fair.
of
This is
a?
valid. This is
So
valid.
mean-
Pook's a clown. Got the
Okay,
whole
well, I
league
don't know
against me
about
for
that.
no reason. Cause
Okay,
ever
don't
since
say the
that-
whole league, because there's a few
Okay,
people that don't give
fair.
two
Hey,
shits
Greg, you
about Pook's
literally
opinion.
finished last in BG's last year.
Zombie. I'm gonna
That was
finish
funny.
above you this year.
Mm,
So don't
Maybe.
worry.
okay.
I want to
Alright.
make a bet.
All right. Anyone else have any comments on either of these
Look,
teams?
Ernie's team's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun
Okay,
to watch
Red,
Pook.
chill, you hater. You hate on
Hold
every
on,
person.
let-
Let
Pook
Cheese
get-
let
said
Cheese
really
talk.
good,
Hold on.
buddy.
Let Cheese talk. Pretty
not
I
hating
feel
on Ernie.
like Pook has some QB. Richardson maybe. He's hoping the rookies get better as the year goes on, but
Yeah.
the big issue with Pook is can he survive while these rookies?
It
Yeah,
wasn't Dynasty, buddy.
yeah, he definitely has a strategy where he's hoping later in the year they get better and better.
Because
And
you only need
which
like
could happen.
6 or 7 wins to make the playoffs, so you can lose a couple weeks.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
So, but you gotta hope they show up at some point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Zombie?
I enjoyed watching Pook
Yeah.
lose 190.
I think pretty much everyone enjoyed watching Pook lose to Ernie. I don't think there's
Who
ever a
fucked up
time.
and thought it was a dynasty league?
I don't think. Ooh, okay, that's a hot take. I like that one.
I think he fucked up.
You
and-
know, every year he tries to get those type of things on the ballot, so maybe he thought this year it
Mhm.
finally went through. Okay.
Mhm. I
All
think
right.
that's pretty fucked up.
All right. Interesting. We'll
And
see if
John B
Fields
gets
bounces
fucked
back.
with Bijan.
Okay. All
What?
right. Pussy, you have any comments on this?
I love the victory from Ernie,
Okay.
even though I have a bet
I
with him.
agree.
But
Okay.
My boy Ernie.
Well, lucky for you, you started 1-0 as well, so you're not behind yet in your bet with him, although his team looked way better than yours week 1. All right, moving on to the next matchup, and this one was the best one of the week.
Yup.
Zach
Georgia.
versus Slaps, as they went back and forth in the chat saying GG won, GG won, blah blah blah. And then it
That's
came
not
down
why
to
they
Monday Night Football, and probably one of the worst bad beats I've ever seen in fantasy football, where Zach was winning, Slaps had the Jets defense, and in overtime, the Jets return a punt for a touchdown to give Slaps the points he needs to go over Zach and get the 93.9 to 90.14 victory. While Zach was live in the party watching it, the horrors and sounds of Zach, if only we had that recorded, as he just instantly left the party after his sorrows of losing a tough one.
Yeah, he just
that
stopped talking.
Yes,
Look,
it went
here's
dead
what we gotta
silent
say.
and then left. Yes.
Zach didn't deserve to win, so he's got to cool it.
Well, I don't know if you could say that.
Wow.
I
He
don't know.
scored
If you
90
fucked up.
points.
Okay,
Oh,
and Slaps only scored 93. I mean, 90's better
Okay,
than
but-
some of these
hey,
matchups
what
we
are we?
saw.
How
Why
do you
are we
have any
here?
room to
You're
talk?
telling me
You
I
had a
ain't
terrible team last year, Cheese.
Last year?
Okay,
What
I
are you
don't know.
talking
I don't know
about?
about that, pussy.
I finished number 1 in the
All
regular
right,
season
well,
last year.
let's look at Zach's team because I don't agree with that aspect of Cheese's statement where Zach deserved to lose. I mean, he got 27
I'm
points from
saying
Tua.
He deserved,
Who would have
I'm
thought?
not saying he
27 points
deserved to
from
lose.
Tua. I mean,
But
that's
you can get
huge.
too mad when you score 90 points and the bounce doesn't go your way.
Yeah, but when you're leading and he only has a defense going into overtime and you're up by
That's
like
true.
a few
That's true.
points, you expect to get the win. You don't expect the guy to get a punt return to walk it off on Monday Night Football. I mean, it's a horrible beat. But anyway, some optimism from Zach's side. The 27 points from Tua, as long as he stays healthy, he's looking very good. Jacobs, the 9 points, solid, but didn't get in the end zone. Miles Sanders actually did better than I expected. He did lose a fumble, but he had 11 points despite that. Jamar Chase with kind of a stinker week 1 as that whole Bengals offense looked bad. Deebo Samuel, it was the Ayuk show, so that's got to be a little concerning from Zach that it was Ayuk getting all the play and not Samuel. He picked up a tight end when Andrews was out, and that didn't work, as unlucky for him, but Rodgers went out early. Michael Thomas did show some signs with 8 targets and 5 receptions for 61, so he looked pretty decent, I would say, considering what we don't know about Michael Thomas, if he can stay healthy and look good. So that was a decent week 1 for him. Carlson with kind of a lower game, and Kansas City defense with 5. On Slaps' side, Hurts and that Eagles plays didn't look the best as he only got 12 from Jalen Hurts. Some of these big-time quarterbacks with some stinkers week 1, so we'll see if they bounce back. Etienne had a huge game, though, with 21. Gibson lost a fumble, and it was the it was the Brian Robinson game, so he's already tried to ship Gibson out. Christian Kirk, like we said, it was all Calvin Ridley, so that's got to be concerning for Slaps as well. A.J. Brown had 14, but got outscored by Devontae Smith. So Slaps has a lot of guys where their counterparts on the team all popped off instead. So that's got to be a little concerning for Slaps that these guys may not be the main guys on their teams, like he might have thought. Kittle with only 4.9, that was rough. Keenan Allen had an okay game. McPherson, Jets defense with the 20, as we said, huge 20 points to steal the victory for Slaps. So at the end of the day, defense wins championships, and it won Slaps a week 1 win that he went to bed for and didn't even see it all happen.
Slaps kept trying to trade me Gibson and Kirk, and I had no interest.
Okay.
And this is why.
Yep.
He has some good pieces. Obviously, Hurts will have better weeks.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown's will have better weeks. Kirk, I'd be worried about, if we're going to be honest.
Yep.
And Gibson, like, I mean,
Well,
theoretically,
he's
he
already
just
shipping
puts-
him out, so.
Yeah, theoretically, he's throwing Mostert or Johnson on the Bears. Look pretty good.
Yep.
So there are some options, but Kerr could be a big blow. There's so many
Mhm.
mouths in the Jacksonville offense.
Zach
Yep.
would have won if he wasn't so attached to Michael Thomas. And started
What?
Zay
Who
Flowers.
would he reasonably have started over Michael Thomas?
Zay
Zay
Flowers. Yeah, I got
Oh, he
17 on
benched
the
Zay
bench.
Flowers?
17
I
on
would
the
have started
bench.
Thomas
Okay,
over
I don't
Zay
think you can
Flowers.
blame him for that, though. I don't think
I
you can
would.
Yeah, I
blame
mean,
him
a
for that.
rookie on week 1, you don't know what you're going to get.
I was never starting. I would never start Michael Thomas.
Well, we know
All I
Zach
have to
loves Mike
say
Thomas.
is we are sorry, Zach. It happens.
No, we're
Good
not.
luck.
That was funny as shit.
I feel bad for Zach.
Okay. The real question will be, when will Zach speak
Never.
after this?
If he wins next
Oh.
week, he'll speak.
Oh,
Where's
okay.
Zach's rankings?
Yeah, there
rankings
was
this
no
week?
rankings this week submitted by Zach. I
Zach
know
will
that's a
speak
little
next
surprising.
week when whoever he's playing, when
Does he
someone
play
on that
Cheese?
same,
If he plays Cheese
No.
next week, it beats him. He'll definitely speak then.
Zach plays Ernie.
Oh, ooh, that's gonna be rough.
So when like Eli Mitchell or somebody scores on the 49ers, he'll send the glasses emoji.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have comments about this matchup?
Sorry, Zach, it's not going to be a good year for you.
Get fucked.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of funny that
It's
he
fucked
lost
up.
Get
to.
fucked. That's exactly what he would say to me if I lost
Yes,
this way. So
that is true. Yep.
Yeah, so
I
now
do.
for
I
Zach,
do. There is a little karma in this because he kept putting Aaron Rodgers in an Auburn shirt all game leading up to the game. When he got hurt, he was celebrating it with the Auburn picture, so he was kind of celebrating that. So it is only fitting that then he also got fucked that night on Monday Night
Yes,
Football. So a
it's
little
kind
bit
of funny that he started. He lost to someone who started a commander who scored .90.
Yeah. I don't know. Slaps definitely needs to make the right roster calls, as we see when he doesn't. It turns out to be low scoring weeks. So we'll see. Slaps is a very, very, very emotional player. He makes changes on a whim. He doesn't let things play out ever. He's already shipped some players off. So we'll see. You know, it worked for him last year. He made a lot of moves and they ended up working. So we'll see if he can do that again this year. But it's a risky game. You make a ton of moves. Sometimes they don't work, and once they don't work, then you lose your players. I mean, I think he traded for Christian Kirk, and then he turned out to not be looking like the top wide receiver he looked like last year, and Ridley looks like the guy. So we'll see how he can bounce back with some of these players on his team, if they bounce back or not. All right, moving on to the final matchup of the week. This was a good, decent-looking matchup, one of the few, as we had Hunter's replacement, Fake Rat, coming in, making a strong statement week 1, getting a 137 to 111 win over Cheese. Cheese with a solid performance by his team, but not solid enough as Rat's team popped off. Rat made a lot of statements before this matchup, and a lot of them came true, despite shit talking Aaron Jones. He shit talked Aaron Jones, and God, I wish that would have been the difference of you losing, because he had 26 huge points. But other than that, Cheese's team, Jared Goff only with 14, kind of mediocre. Barkley with a rough game, only 9 points, but the whole Giants team got fucked. The Sun God, St. Brown with 19, good game from him. Drake London, who he started on week 1, got him a goose egg. Evan Ingram with only 10 points.
Okay, that's good for a tight end.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not bad. Tyler Lockett, who he also started with only 3.
Yeah, got
so
concussed.
those were the
Very
two. Those guys right there were the reasons he lost. Drake London and Tyler Lockett, those guys laid an egg. Tyler Bass had a good game, and his 49ers defense obviously did really well. But he did leave on the bench 32 huge points from Ayuk, which would have been a huge difference in the matchup. So definitely hurts when you leave the win on your bench.
Yeah, but we could also say that if Rat didn't troll, he would have started Pittman.
Yep.
Maybe, but he clearly thought
No, Rat
Tony.
literally
He clearly thought Tony
He
was going to do
literally- that
good.
was
He
a literal
started him on
troll.
Thursday night.
That was a literal
It was
troll, so
troll,
he had
buddy.
somebody to watch.
Okay,
That was a
well.
literal troll.
Well, I don't know why you would troll in fantasy.
I don't know either, but he
So-
literally said, "Should I just do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll do
Well,
it."
he had Mahomes get him 19, not bad considering no one could catch a ball for the Chiefs. Mixon with 10, Javonte Williams with 9, DJ Moore, who he was hyping up before the season started with all his tweets he was putting in, and he definitely didn't show out, only 4.5. the real key for Fake Rat in this game was Tyreek Hill, 44 huge points on the opening week. Just looked unguardable, getting behind the defense left and right for long touchdowns. Just unbelievable, really. We'll see if he continues that. Dallas Goedert, his Philly boy, who he has to be disappointed with a big goose egg.
Also got me a donut.
And yeah, so that
Drake
was
London
rough.
Masterclass.
And then
And
Tony, you
Dallas
might as well consider it a goose egg, as he dropped about 5 passes and only got 1 point. Then his
-1
defense
yard.
for Dallas, though, going into the game, he needed a good game from the Dallas defense, and he got it. 35 huge points on defense. When you get 35 on defense and you get 44 from Hill, you should blow your opponent out. And he kind of did that. So, Rat, go ahead. You can have the first word.
Cheese can have the first
Oh,
word.
you
I
want
wanna
the...
hear-
Okay,
Yeah.
Cheese, go ahead.
Okay, I mean, so I thought it was still a solid performance by my team.
Okay, yeah.
We faced the top 2 scorers in fantasy, so just unlucky.
Okay.
If the Giants were literally not a little bit of ass,
Mm-hmm.
I have a chance because Saquon probably gets more points and defense doesn't get 35. So just very unlucky for his week, but
Okay.
I'm still confident in my team going forward.
I did ask you a question,
Shut the
though,
fuck up,
earlier.
zombie, you
I
bum.
did. I did ask you a question, though, earlier
Dumb,
this
Cheese.
week.
Fuck London.
When you draft Brandon Ayuk as high as you drafted him,
I know.
to not play him over a guy that's coming into his second season with a quarterback by the name of Desmond Ritter, seems like a kind of a easy decision for week 1
Okay.
to start
Well,
Ayuk.
I didn't realize that Ritter would literally throw it like 5 times.
Desmond Ritter.
I thought the target share that ended. So last season we continued to not, but that's okay.
But
I
he
still-
drafted Daniel Jones and already dropped him.
Okay, what is that an issue? I
I
drafted him like the
mean,
9th round.
it's
Like, who the fuck
Daniel
cares?
Iranian Rue. So, I mean,
Exactly.
I mean,
Why are we acting like I dropped Patrick Mahomes? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I
Because you
dropped-
said he was gonna be your stack buddy.
Okay,
so,
Rat.
You literally scored 90 points.
I'm gonna break it down by the players. Mahomes,
Okay.
I think he's missing about 10 points that game if they just simply play football.
Okay.
I
So
don't know what
he would have
Tony was
scored
doing.
30
Tony,
without Kelsey.
Tony will never see the field again unless he
Okay.
unless.
Is
he
there a
just
reason you
does
haven't
something.
dropped him yet?
Second chances are all.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So if he somehow starts catching things, I could have a little duo there.
Okay.
The running
Keep
back.
dreaming.
You know, I like
Okay.
the thing that we have to talk about after DJ Moore. I got Keenan Allen now, so I think that's an upgrade because I do like Justin Herbert over Justin Fields. I will say that. Tyreek
Slaps was
Hill.
good with
I said a masterclass was coming. To be fair, that I did
Yeah,
warn
you did
Keith
predict
about that the whole time.
Yep, you did predict that. You were right
Dallas
on that.
Goddard, I love you. It happens. Didn't
Okay.
help. We can skip the next guy because fuck that guy. I already talked about him.
Okay,
And,
wait. We
yeah.
give you your praise for Tyreek Hill predicting that, but you did predict that Aaron Jones would be absolute dog shit.
I
this
will
week.
I will say sorry to Aaron Jones. I still don't see.
Pretty sure you called him
it
worse
being down
than.
great in the future, so we'll see.
He was literally the
Didn't
Didn't you
RB1.
call him worse than Tony or something? You called him
He's
worse than
literally
Tony.
the
Pacheco,
RB1.
but I didn't have
Pacheco.
Pacheco anymore.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's the RB1 for 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah, but you called him literally the worst
I
player
like
in
my-
fantasy football history.
Okay. So you like your
Hopefully.
team in that deep analysis. Obviously, they scored
Mahomes
137
is
week
gonna
1,
get
so you're
better
gonna
with
like.
Yes,
Kelsey
I
back.
think me and Rat have a lot better teams than what we saw.
Okay.
Mahomes,
I
yes,
would I would be
some-
fair.
I
I'd
think-
say
I think-
these two teams at the moment are
Once-
playoff
I
teams.
think we're in the
Once
top
Kelsey's
three.
Although
back.
the thing we have to worry about with Rat, like he did last year in JV,
Is
he
if
started
trade
out
his
with
whole
a good
I
team,
trade his
Now,
whole
I
team
love
away.
and
the
I like how he
say,
said
I'll
he's
t-
gonna
I'll tell you
make barely
why.
any trades, yet he's already made more
Okay,
trades
but
than
I
anybody
will-
in the league,
Once we
basically.
break down this trade, I'll tell you why I
Okay.
like it.
Okay.
Look, if Rat, just all he has to do is never trade Tyreek Hill.
That is true.
I plan
All
on
he
that.
has to do.
I plan on-
Although, will he continue to?
I did
have
fix my
44.
bench. I will say that I like my bench a lot more now.
Look, I
'cause
say
don't-
that it was a tough matchup this week. It happens.
Yeah,
You know,
sometimes
It
you
does
just run into
happen.
a high scoring.
you need to win. It's a better omen than some teams that we still scored 111
I agree.
with
Cheese
some of
does
my
have
players
look.
shit in the
I
bed.
might have hate Cheese, but he
Yeah.
has a lot better teams
Some
than
of these other
everybody.
teams,
A
their
lot of
teams
others.
shit the bed. They're scoring 80, 90. We're still putting up good,
I
solid
agree.
numbers.
Okay.
I might have
Make-
shit talked
you know.
Cheese, but he has better teams than some.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right. Anybody else have any comments on this?
And
Yeah,
Kelsey's
Pusa.
back
Pusa,
next
make
week.
your comment.
My comment is that Aaron Jones looked really good, and I traded for half of Rat's team. So
That's true.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't approved yet.
Wow,
Okay.
Cheese, you scum.
I want Golfer to go over the trade. Then
All
I'll
right,
approve.
we will go over it now.
All right, I like it.
All right, so as we said, there is a current trade pending.
Why
As
does it
we
show
look at
like
this
that on your
here,
screen?
Is he
There's
went to
been a
pin.
few
we
trades.
have. Well, yeah, there's been a few trades, but those ones already got approved, so we're just gonna
Yeah,
stick with
week
this
one trade
current one that's
zombie.
still
We're
out.
gonna go all the way
All
back.
right, so on Rat's side, he is receiving from Pussy, Dalvin Cook, Kyle Pitts, James Cook, and Breece Hall. So basically half of Pussy's starting team with the two running backs from the Jets, Kyle Pitts and James Cook. On the other side, Pussy is getting Joe Mixon, the 0-point Dallas Goedert. So Rat said he had no hard feelings for his Philly boy, yet then ships him out immediately once he gets 0 points from him. Interesting, where your
I
loyalties
still
lie.
like my guy.
Juggernaut Gervonta, who he got from Pook in that trade we already talked about, and Jackson Smith and Jibga, who had a rough opening first
Where are we
week.
getting Juggernaut from?
Overall, I think it's pretty solid, fair trade, hence why I voted approve. I mean, it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of just a lateral type move. I mean, both those tight ends, I could see Goddard doing better than Pitts going in the future. But then I could also see Breece Hall doing better than Joe Mixon. So it's kind of, to me, I do like James Cook quite a bit. I think he looks pretty good. I think he is a slight upgrade to Javonte. So maybe Rat and a slight upgrade, in my opinion. But I think it's a pretty fair, even trade.
Rat is getting the better running backs.
Yeah. Okay.
Worst tight end.
We also have to remember, though, that the
I agree.
Bengals on offense looked horrible. So
I still
he
think
is selling.
Breece is
He is
significantly
selling
better than
James Mixon a little bit on the low end
Joe Mixon.
because
Yeah, I mean, I think
he has a bad week one.
big downgrade at tight
It's
end,
fair.
obviously, and then Poots is hoping that JSN pops off. I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
It's fair enough. It's no trade
I'll
rapes.
say,
or
I mean,
anything.
I'll
I
say
will
my
verbally
official one.
approve processing. the-
Cheese.
Okay.
Shut the
How
fuck
about
up! What do you want,
fucking
Zombie?
I want to
You
hear
fucking
Zombie's
bitch.
end.
Zombie, wait till our
wanna talk.
matchup.
Wait, I want to hear
analysis, you
Zombie's
bitch.
end. What did Zombie think about it? Let's hear you, Zombie. Let's hear
Zombie, go ahead.
your
Your
magical thoughts.
No, I was talking about how Cheese didn't approve this whole time. He could have gone through already.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay,
wanted
we're
to
still
go
gonna
over it,
discuss
apparently.
it. Like you.
I mean,
okay,
didn't you
I
veto
mean,
it earlier,
this is
Zombie?
what I did.
He
I
did,
like
and then he unvetoed it.
I like the
Whoa.
running backs I'm getting. He likes the tight end he's getting, and we like the. I need running back depth. We need
Listen.
wide receiver depth.
Here's
know?
my thoughts. I
Yeah,
gave all of that.
JSN.
I gave all of that to Pusa for
Yeah.
Kelsey, and now he just gave it all
Yeah.
away again.
so that's
Okay.
what my comment was going to be.
Okay.
I want to reveal who I traded Travis Kelsey for now.
Okay. Go
Zombie.
ahead.
So in the Travis Kelsey trade, I've received Dalvin Cook, Kyle Pitts, James Cook, Breece Hall
Okay.
for Travis Kelsey and Khalil Herbert.
Okay.
So basically, I got Joe Mixon, Dallas Goedert, Javonte Williams, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and
Khalil.
Jahan Dotson
Okay.
for Travis Kelsey
Okay.
and Khalil Herbert.
I still think Breece Hall.
I still. Yeah, I don't know if
Breece Hall
that's.
Look, I will say
That-
Breece Hall to me, I like Breece Hall and James Cook better than the duo. Obviously, I'm downgrading. I think a lot of people are liking the JSN guy, but it's not dynasty. It's a risk factor, and it will take him time to get good in that offense. I didn't think
The
that
only
was a
thing I'll
big
say
piece
from
in the
Pussy's
trade.
standpoint is he got a
does
lot
look
of
good, a
guys
better-
on the low end because they all had
Yeah.
rough week ones, so they
I
could have
agree.
potential in
but
the
I
future to
still
pop
like
up.
I like my running back duo better now
Okay.
because I wanted James Cook for a while,
All right.
and I've liked Breece Hall. There's
Okay.
my
So both sides
Yeah,
are
you
happy.
bug
It
me
sounds
every
like.
day.
buddy. I've been going
You
after
wanted
James
James
Cook
Cook
since
every
Breece
week
Hall doesn't
one.
have the stamina though
Yes,
to
and
get all
that's
the
why
way
we
in the
got
end
him.
zone. That should worry you a little bit.
I did.
He doesn't have
And
the
he is
Yeah,
a
I mean-
terrible quarterback.
Doesn't have the
The Jets are-
stamina.
The Jets
Yeah,
are
but a
just gonna
comparable
pound the
quarterback
ball
could be good
anyways.
because that means they're going to
The-
run it a lot.
They're just gonna
But
pound the ball.
then it gets guessable. You
But
know,
Brees
Yeah,
Hall
like
but
carried
Brees
me
Hall
to
with the
my.
ball in his hand is electric, so
I might have
he
had
just
some
doesn't have the
shit wins in
stamina to get all the
JV,
way in the end zone.
but he carried me to win, so I like the guy. Okay.
Okay.
I'll probably trade for him again,
Oh,
honestly.
maybe.
But,
okay.
I will also say something about. Can I say something about earlier's comment
Yes.
that Zombie said I finished in JV last? This year,
Yes.
I will guarantee I'm not. I'll put any amount of money.
Okay.
My team has one of the better teams in the league, and I will
Okay.
finish.
Well,
not
this
last
isn't a
but
show
first.
about JV, so you
I
can
know.
figure that out
I'll
afterwards.
No,
I
yeah,
will
JV
finish
doesn't
last
deserve a
in this
show.
league.
It doesn't deserve a show. All right.
I'll finish top 6 in this league.
Okay, real quickly,
That's my
let's
comment.
look at the waivers for this week before we go into next week's
Ooh.
matchups,
Jesus, that's $70 spent.
as there was a ton of interesting waiver claims. Is there a way I can just
Jeez.
pull all these up? No. Okay. So
Buddy
starting
puts-
off with Kyron Williams, obviously he was the big grab of the week as he looked really good for the Rams. He did get out carried by Cam Akers by a few, but
Okay,
he
a
had
lot of
the
garbage
way
time carries.
he had a
yeah.
way better overall production with the carries he did get and got as the goal line guy, looks like. So obviously there was quite a few bids on him, but Cheese pulls off a $46 bid, almost 50% of his fab budget to get him. Looking at the competition, I put in 31, Rat put in 25, Slaps 20, Pook 8, and Bill put in 0. So there was some
Good job, Bill.
competition on him. Overall, I think it's a pretty good get for Cheese. He spent the cash to get him, so Cheese, I'm assuming you're happy with it.
You look, last year I looked over. ESPN still has our transactions from last year available. I spent very little fab,
Yes.
and what I did spend it on gained me literally nothing. So this year, the
Yes.
best value is spending it early.
I would.
You don't know.
Yeah, I would
You
agree.
you don't know who's gonna pop off by
I
week
agree
3.
with
We know
Cheese.
what stuff's going on already.
I think
I-
this week
So-
1 there was quite a few players that definitely were worth spending some fab on. So I would agree.
And also,
agree.
my
I don't know
running
about
back-
50%,
Rat, let me finish.
but
Okay, well, also my running
Buddy.
back depth is absolutely atrocious. So I needed somebody who I could throw in there due to injuries. My running back depth is literally terrible.
okay.
So if Aaron Jones, he's a little questionable for this week. If he can't go, I have somebody who can at least get goal line work and maybe
Fair
score
enough,
some
fair
touchdowns
enough.
again.
Yeah.
So it need to be done.
I really thought Zach was going to throw $100 on him. I really thought it,
Buddy,
but he
Zach
must not have
was
paid
depressed
attention enough
after-
to see that he had a huge game.
Zach
so-
was depressed after
Yeah,
the
that
fact.
is true. That is true. All right, moving on to the second big acquisition, running back wise. Gus the Bus Edwards goes for $30 to Slaps. A
Expensive
little
as
bit of
fuck.
a surprise. There was only 2 bids. I put 11 on him. So a little bit of an overpay there for Slaps, especially that there's a second. Baltimore uses like fucking 3 running backs or 4 running backs. So a little bit of a question mark as to spend
He
that
didn't even
much
get
on
the
him.
goal line work.
He didn't even get the good one,
Yeah,
Justice Hill.
Justice Hill, who I got. So
I did this. I did this last year with the Gus Edwards
yes.
experience.
I think Slaps just heard the name Gus Bus and just assumed, okay, he's the guy, and so
I
he went
think
out.
Gus can be like a flex that might pop off a couple of weeks,
Yes.
but
Yep.
I had him last year. He might get you 2 points. He might get you
He's
15.
shit.
We'll see.
It's not worth, it's not
Yeah.
worth that much money.
Yeah, that was quite a bit by him. I think that's
Can
the
I
only
point
downside.
something out?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yes, go
No.
for it.
Slaps pointed out DeAndre Jackson would be the guy in Colts, and
Okay, and
he's
then he
already
already
off the
dropped him.
team.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay,
Slaps.
look,
Yeah.
Okay.
but you gotta respect it. He's not going to hold on and waste a roster spot. You saw week 1, you got out.
Fair.
Yeah. So
But
we'll
he
see
has to
how
make
Gus
somebody.
Edwards and that Baltimore running back committee works out going
It's
forward.
always a
gonna-
committee.
All right,
Melvin
moving on
Gordon's
to the
gonna
next
pop
one.
off.
Obviously, I went out and needed a quarterback, so I went and got Brock Purdy, who I thought was the best one available. Obviously, I
agree.
overpaid a lot considering nobody else bid on him. I was a little concerned that Cheese was going to bid on him, even though he said he liked Jordan Love. I thought he'd bid on both of them, so that's why I spent 27 on him. Obviously, an overpay, but
Well, you need to
I
do it.
can't take the chance of not getting the quarterback that I
You
want.
need to
I
do it.
agree.
So
You need to
I
do it.
had to spend some.
I
I did
agree.
have a $17 bid in, and then I will give Pussy credit. He did bait me a little bit when he sent me a DM last night saying that he's going after quarterbacks. It did bait me to throw an extra 10 on him just to make sure I would get him. So congrats to you, Pussy, on that for costing me an extra $10.
I mean,
of
you
fab.
can't take Fab with you.
So you can't, but I definitely would like to still have some for the rest of the year. But anyways,
I'll make a comment on that.
okay, go ahead.
Geez, I'm wondering why you didn't pick up Brock Purdy
Well,
to
he
get
likes
your little
Jordan
stack
Love clearly
going.
better.
Yeah, but you
Because
could have had a.
my
Well,
reasoning.
he didn't
Do
start,
you want
Brian.
to hear my?
Wait, he didn't start Brandon Ayuk, so how's it a stack if
Do you
he's
want
not
to hear
going to
my
start him?
reasoning? Do you want to hear my reasoning?
I
Okay,
just
go
want to
ahead.
hear your reason. I did.
Brock
That's what I
Purdy
want.
this is not a criticism, but he's a system QB. Okay.
Yes, but he's in a
He's
very
gonna-
good system with very
Who's the
good
But
best
you
players.
have
quarterback
to.
available?
Okay, chill. You have to look at what he did last week. Okay. You look at what he did last week. He had a great game and still only got you 16 points. Like,
Yes.
how much better does he have to do to get? Like,
He's the
I
best
think he'll be.
Well,
quarterback
I
you
think
have to
it'll be
remember though, in that game they were up big from the start.
I think
so.
it's going to be a solid 15 to 17 points. But
And
I
we
just hope-
can also
you know.
reverse that though with Jordan Love. He was playing one of the worst teams in football, the
You also
Chicago
is
struck
true.
a better
Bears.
quarterback
This
for
is true.
Jordan Love.
So
I like
we'll
Jordan
see.
Love's upside.
Okay,
That's it.
that's fair. That's fair. All right, moving on to the next one, we have Allen Robinson from Pittsburgh, who had a pretty solid opening game. Pook bid 21 on him, a little bit of an overpay as Bill only bid 9, but he gets the wide receiver. Obviously, Pook is looking for wide receivers, as he's made that pretty clear. So he gets Allen Robinson, who he hopes can be something moving forward. I think that's a pretty standard, easy one. Obviously, after seeing the bids, he could go a little less, but you don't know when you go to bid. So. Cheese, as we already talked about, picks up Jordan Love, drops Danny, Iranian Ral. He gets him for 17. Obviously, you see here, I also bid 17, but he was not my first choice, as I had Brock Purdy as my first choice, so that's why it didn't matter. So Cheese gets him. Good solid bid there for Cheese to get the
I mean,
guy
he
that
looked
he
good.
believes. He
He
did
might
look
run a
very
bit.
good. He looked
He
in
might
control.
Run a bit. He has a lot of. I think they also have a pretty easy schedule, which helps.
Yeah, he did look
and
in
he's-
control, and he was without Christian Watson, so he
team
didn't even have
respects
his
him.
wide receiver.
I think they have a decent schedule, not a lot of tough defenses.
Yeah. He did look good. That's why I put a bid on him. But I liked Brock Purdy's
Can I ask
offense.
the
and I
question?
retain what?
Why did you both put 17? Like, why is that such a number that you both
I
brought
don't
up?
know. It's just that's
I
how
need
it
to
ended up.
like not
Okay,
15,
because
not
a lot.
16.
Well, here's why you put 17. Because in my mind, a lot of people like an even number. So
Yes.
like a
Fair.
lot of people like 15 or 10 or whatever.
Fair.
So then somebody out there
That's
thinks
uneven.
that. So wait. So somebody out there thinks that. Oh, a lot of people like even numbers. So let me bid 16, so I win by 1. So then I'm thinking,
Fair.
okay, let me bid 17, so then I jump over that thinking as well. It's just a random.
So you think
Yeah,
he's
and
Danny
I-
Pennies now, Cheese?
Look, what you have to realize is no one picked up Danny Pennies, so the value is not
Not
there right
yet.
now. You don't know. He could pop out later, but I just feel like
I
he's a
think
much
he's
harder.
better. I like
You have
Danny
a much
So
harder.
you
QB
think Daniel
schedule.
Jones is better than Jordan Love moving forward?
Yes.
I think. Look,
Okay.
if we look at Danny Dimes' schedule, the Giants have a very tough schedule this year. You know,
I
Danny
don't
Dimes-
like Danny Dimes. I think he's just a running quarterback, and I don't think he can pass. And I don't think they have the wide receivers for him to pass. All they got is Darren Waller, and I think teams will be loading up to try to stop Waller.
but yeah, I just think the Packers got a lot of weapons, a lot of people to throw.
I think Jordan Love looked very good. He looked very in control. He looked like he had a game plan. He threw the ball well. I think he looked pretty good. We'll see what he does moving forward. Obviously, he only got him for 17, so it's not like he put half of his
And I
budget on a guy
retained
after
Jared
one.
Goff, who at least will get me
Yes.
15.
Yes,
So
I was
we got
hoping you would
backups.
drop Goff instead of Danny Dimes.
No.
All right, moving on. We had Rat picking up Rashid Shaheed, who had a good game week 1. Got him for 15, pretty close bid, with Cheese bidding 11, so he did outbid him. That was a good solid bid auction there for Rat. Rat, you have any comments on it?
Michael Thomas turf toe by week 4.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, interesting. All right.
Good.
This one, which I misread, I thought Zombie got Joshua Kelly, but he did not. Rat picks up
Yeah, I don't know
Joshua
what
Kelly for
Zombie's doing.
$15.
I don't know what
Zombie
Zombie's
didn't
doing.
even bid on him at all.
I don't know
I
what
bid
you're
6.
doing.
Zombie, would you like to
Gary.
make any comments? It seems like Eckler has a bum ankle. You're not
Mhm.
worried at all that he doesn't miss any time?
Yeah, no,
Huh?
I wasn't gonna fucking overpay for Kelly yet.
I mean, it's
Why? You
$15.
guarantee-
It's not-
Eckler
you
gonna miss 2 to
guarantee-
3
You
What
didn't
do you
even
else
bid
you-
$1 on him. I'd get
Buddy,
it if you
Eckler's
bid
gonna
something
miss
on him.
time.
Yeah, I know, but like, what's the point in having your own fucking handcuff? It means that you
For
all
when your
automatically
star
think-
gets out, then
You're-
you can
you're-
play him, and
I
he
know,
looked more
yeah,
than
that's
serviceable in
bad-
week 1.
That's bad thinking though, that you're
Nope.
No, you're
Your
guaranteeing
guy's
that you have
getting
a
hurt,
running
buddy.
back.
Okay,
Player's gonna
wait.
get
Wait.
hurt.
Dumbass
Hold on, wait.
zombie.
You don't
Wait,
need
Zombie,
Fab.
I would agree with that if it was before the game had started and Eckler was healthy. But once you know Eckler is banged up, then it's about getting the guy that's going to be his replacement that looked good in the game when he got in and played. I'd get it if
I
Eckler
like
wasn't hurt at all.
Fab.
Then I'd get your thinking. Why take and handcuff the guy that's not hurt? But
Yeah, I'd rather
he
have
is hurt.
someone
You
else
knew
as
he was hurt.
handcuff.
Want me to say why I picked him up? Because if
We know why
Eckler's
you picked him
out,
up.
he's pretty startable for the next.
Well,
for the
yeah,
Okay,
next-
I think he
well,
looked
I
pretty good when
disagree.
he played most of the fourth
Look,
quarter.
Look, Kelly
And to fuck over zombie. yeah,
Kelly
maybe.
had a bunch of times the last few years where he gets a start and it goes nowhere. I think Zombie should have picked him up.
Okay,
just
but
as
you
a
also
backup.
have to remember that this is a new Chargers offense where they
This
are
is true.
emphasizing on running the ball a
But I
lot more
think-
than previous
Like,
years.
I don't know what else
And
Zombie
he
can do
got
with
quite a few
$100. I don't know what else Zombie can do with $100 in
I'm-
Fab.
Yes,
Might as well
I
pick up
agree.
somebody. So like if Eckler is a game time decision, they say he's
Not
out, you throw in Kelly.
overspend it on.
Well,
one
okay, you're gonna
player.
take it with you. You don't get it. It's not like real money. You can't cash
I don't think
out, buddy.
$15 is an overspend. And
Zombie,
Zombie,
you can't cash
hold
out
on.
and pay the fantasy.
Zombie,
entries
I would
next year.
agree. I would agree with you in your point if you would have bid on him and then he said, okay, 15 was too much, but you didn't even bid on him, so you didn't even put a claim in for him.
Yeah, well, that's also because I don't have any roster spots right now that I can
Okay,
just.
I
throw.
don't
Okay.
believe that.
All right,
I'm
interesting.
gonna. I'd rather hold on to.
All right,
it.
so
I'd
who
rather have
is
someone
so
else
what?
that
So
is-
if Eckler's out, who are you starting from your? Who's getting
I'll
in?
start.
Khalil Herbert.
Who?
You couldn't drop
Herbert?
Chubba Hubbard.
I'll start. Herbert.
Josh O'Kelly will be
Okay.
better than Khalil Herbert.
Okay, interesting. All right, moving on to the next one. I picked up the Cleveland Browns defense for 12. A little bit of an
Very
Pretty
overspend.
good
Bad.
ad.
Yeah,
That's
a
not
little bit
bad.
of an overspend, but they looked very good week one, shutting down
Anybody
Burrow.
bid on it?
And their defense, no one bid on it, so it was an overspend. But after the Seahawks got me -4 and cost me, I need another defense just as a security, and they were, I think, the best available, and they looked the best week one, shutting down Burrow
They've,
and getting a lot of sacks. So they have
They
a
have a
very
decent
good D
schedule
line.
too. Decent
Yes,
schedule.
so I will take that.
Fucking
I
Bill.
also-
Bill only spent $2 on Fab and he still has 120.
Yeah. So you might as well spend it early and get the players you want before Bill
That's what
comes
I'm
in
doing.
5 weeks and says, okay, this guy's mine, because you're not going to be able to compete with him.
How do I
But-
see how much Fab I have left?
You can go to the standings.
Oh,
It'll show it there.
I got it. I have so little money.
I
I
like
have
this
20
one.
bucks,
Will there be
baby.
$115 man?
I have
There
20
could be
bucks,
from Bill.
baby.
We'll see. Next one, I also picked up Justice Hill. I did not expect to get him for only 11, as it was a bid where Slaps bid 20 and outbid me, but he got somebody else in his queue
Who do you get? Who do you
over.
get?
I'm assuming he
Gus
got
Edwards, I think.
Gus
Was it
Edwards.
Gus
Yeah,
Edwards?
had to be. That's the only
I
other guy
like
he got.
Dolphins
So.
better. I like Dolphins.
So he chose to spend 30 on Edwards, but then only 20 on Hill. I think
Yep,
Hill
I
looked better
agree.
in week one, so I'm hoping he will get the better.
Bill's also
better
younger
work.
and less injury.
Yes, so
Okay.
I will take him for that price. Cheese picked up Robert Woods for
The
7.
worst one.
Whoa!
Ernie,
Wait,
I mean, we're not going to spend too
what
much
do you mean?
time. Go ahead, make your comment on Robert Woods.
Make your
It's
comment?
Robert Woods is
fucking
so
Robert
ass.
Woods.
10 targets, buddy.
He did get a lot of
Okay, buddy.
targets.
So
So,
ass.
I
We'll
don't
see.
care. He can fill in as a flex, and that's what I need.
Yeah,
My bench
it's
is
kind
terrible.
of just a mediocre. He could end up being dropped in a couple weeks, or he
He
could
can
end up
fill
being
in. He
started.
can fill in for injuries or
Maybe.
bye weeks.
We'll see.
My
Or
bench
he
was so
could be
terrible.
dropped. Or he could be dropped.
Or he can
We'll
be
see.
dropped, but my bench is
But
so
it was only
atrocious, I need
$7.
people.
That's why it's not that huge of a deal. Moving on, Ernie gets Kendrick
Ernie.
Bourne for the Patriots for $6. Same kind of thing as Cheese. Could be something, could be nothing. We'll see. Moving on. Bill gets Hayden Hurst, who had a good connection with Bryce Young. Looked pretty decent for 6. Not bad. Zach Moss also by Bill for $2. Slaps. God, I wish this would have went through. Slaps.
Yeah, I wish too.
$20
Slaps spent
on
$20
Zach Moss? Are we serious?
and didn't go through because he got Gus Edwards for
The
30.
king of
So that was
mid?
probably better to get Edwards for 30 over Zach
I mean,
Moss.
probably,
for
yeah,
20.
but
Let's see here. Pussy gets a kicker from the
Good job,
Chargers.
Sousa. Thicker the kick.
And Pook gets also a kicker to replace Will Lutz, who did shit. And that was the bids for the week. A lot of action, a lot of money being spent. As we see here, we can look.
I think
leaves-
Golfer won the bidding war this week. I have to admit.
I don't know about
I
that.
like his
I
quarterback
overspent
move,
with
but I
Purdy.
like-
I overspent with Purdy. I
Okay.
could have spent way less. If I would have kept my original bid of 17 on Purdy, then I would have been a lot more happier. That extra 10,
Fair.
Pussy baited me into that extra 10. So we looked. Rat has $75
Oh,
left.
some time left.
Ernie 94. Zombie 75 left. Slaps at 60 left. Pussy 95
60
left.
Ernie.
Bill with 128. Cheese with 20. Obviously the least left is Cheese.
Zombie's fucking money
I
a week.
have 50 left. Pook has 79, and then Zach, Tyler, and Matt all didn't make any moves, and they still have their $100 left. So, all right, moving on to this week 2 matchups, as we will predict who's gonna win. Starting
Oh wait,
with,
let me finish my lineup. Sorry.
oh yeah,
Hold
you
on.
can change your line.
So we
We will start with
stupid.
Tyler versus Matt, and we'll come back to me versus you. All right, Tyler versus Matt. Right now, Sleeper projects Matt to win 113 to 106. Matt has the new Cam Newton, who came off of a typical Cam Newton game. Geno Smith against Detroit. So we'll see if he has a bounce back. Najee Harris against Cleveland. A.J. Dillon in there against Atlanta. Now that J.K.'s hurt. Diggs versus the Raiders. Devontae Adams, as long as he plays, also against Buffalo, so he's got the 2 wide receivers from that game. And Njoku against Pittsburgh on Monday night. Higgins looking for a bounce back against Baltimore. Butker against Jacksonville, and the Dolphins against that Patriots Mac Jones. So some decent matchups. Tyler, on his side, he's got Lamar Jackson against Cincinnati. That'll be a big bounce back game for both those quarterbacks in that game. I expect fireworks between Burrow and Jackson. Madison on Thursday night against the Eagles, as it's Vikings versus Eagles this Thursday. Pierce against Indy. Hollywood Brown against the Giants. CeeDee Lamb against the Jets should be good. Tyler Higbee against the 49ers. Brandon Cooks against Detroit, and the Giants defense against Arizona should be pretty decent as the Giants look to make a statement and bounce back. So some interesting matchups on both sides. This is kind of a tough one. I could see this being like a 100 to 105 type game, and I think I'm going to go with Tyler in a close one, as I think Lamar Jackson bounces back for a huge game. I think Pierce has a little bit of a better game. I think CeeDee Lamb gets more, as I think the Jets defense will make it competitive, so CeeDee will get some more targets. So yeah, I'm going to take Tyler, but in a very close one. All right. Cheese, who's winning?
I mean, it's gonna be close. I still don't like Matt's team that much. I don't really like Tyler's team much better.
Can we wait?
Okay.
Kusa, stop.
What?
Well,
You're
I
unmuted
mean,
in Discord.
Dylan might be decent because Jones
Oh,
could be
shit.
sitting, but Dylan looked absolutely horrendous when he played.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Matt's running backs are just so bad.
Yeah, I mean, he could put Cam
and
Akers in, but they're playing the 49ers, so that's
Cam
another
Akers
rough
also
matchup.
looked terrible.
Yeah, if only he could
I
start
don't know.
4 wide receivers, then he'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Lamar is not going to be that shit. I feel
I'm
like
a
he's
little
gonna be
surprised he's got Njoku in again over Kincaid. Kincaid looked pretty good. He got quite a few looks. So
Yeah.
I would maybe make that switch depending on. Although I guess he probably wants the Monday night player with Njoku. So
I don't know. I think Tyler's better matchups, and
okay,
Lamar will obviously not be shit. So I'm gonna
okay,
take Tyler.
all right, Rat.
I think it'll be a close one. I think T. Higgins will give him that bounce back game.
Okay,
Lee Harris and Dylan, it's got to change. But I also don't like Damian Pierce. I don't like Marquise Brown. I mean, like you
Okay.
said, it could be a close one either way. And we'll see who comes out with their first win of the season.
well, you got to make a prediction there, buddy.
I'm gonna say shocker, and that's wide receivers carrying him to a win.
Okay, interesting. All right, Zombie.
I got Matt.
Matt.
Win.
Okay. Pussy.
This is going to be the lowest scoring
Yeah.
matchup of the week,
Okay.
and I'm going to pick Matt to be
Okay.
1-1, and Tyler's going to be 0-2, and his
Oh.
team will be drastically different next week.
Okay. Interesting. So by lowest scoring, what are you predicting? Like 90 to 80?
5 to 7.
Like similar to me and Matt's
Okay, so
last
like
week.
89 to like 80. Okay. Interesting. All right, moving on back to my matchup versus Rat. Right now, they projected Rat to win by 3 point, 116 to 113. Rat has Patrick Mahomes, who he says Hurts is still better, even though Mahomes has the Super Bowl and Hurts doesn't, against Jacksonville. So it could be a high-scoring game, that game, as both those teams with Lawrence and Mahomes look to be good. We'll see if Kelsey's back and good to go. That will help. Newly acquired Breece Hall against that Cowboys defense. We'll see if he can have another good game. Newly acquired James Cook against the Raiders. Tyreek Hill, after his huge game, now faces the Patriots on Monday night. I gotta hope that Bill Belichick can somehow pull out some defensive masterclass and Hill comes back down to earth a little. Keenan Allen against Tennessee. Cole Kmet against Tampa Bay, and now he has Pittman in there finally against Houston. And Sanders and Dallas defense against the Jets. That's a very good matchup. Dallas defense could get another 30 points with Zach Wilson throwing the ball. On my side, I have newly acquired Brock Purdy against the Rams. I hope that's another high-scoring game between these two. Pollard against the Jets. Like that could be decent, although the Jets defense looks pretty solid to start. At the moment, James Conner against the Giants, as long as he's healthy and playing, we'll see. Justin Jefferson on Thursday night against Philly. So obviously I have a Thursday night player. Thursday night players I hate because you either start out really good or you start out bad, but it is my best player. So going on Thursday night, hopefully he can start me off really good against that tough Eagles defense. Not a great matchup, but we'll see if the Vikings can bounce back and make it a high-scoring game, hopefully. DK against Detroit. Hawkinson as well on Thursday night against Philly. And Kenneth Walker against Detroit. And then Jake Elliott, who had a big game on Thursday. So I have 3 Thursday night players, so I better get off to a good start. And the Cleveland defense on Monday night against Pittsburgh. No Monday night quarterback this week, so the defense will have to get like -10 to cost me the win somehow if another Monday night situation is going to happen. Obviously, I'm not going to be a bitch and not pick myself, so I'm going to predict that I get a bounce back win, although I do think it will be very close, as the Rats team has some good matchups as well. So I'm hoping for like a 130 to 125 type victory with 2 pretty good performances, and it comes down to Monday night players. But I will predict myself. All right, Cheese.
Oh.
You'll get the last word.
Yeah, chill, Rat.
Fair.
It's gonna be close. I don't know. I don't like the Thursday night players. I can set the whole week for you. I don't know. I feel like Rat's team's pretty solid.
Okay.
And it's gonna be hard to bet against Tyreek and Mahomes until they show otherwise.
Yep.
At the moment, I mean.
Although history shows usually when a player goes off for a huge game, that normally they come a little bit back down to earth. So maybe Waddle gets the big plays, but we'll see.
You have some pretty good matchups too. I think it'd be close. Like it's gonna be a good matchup. I'll stick with Rat though.
Okay. Pussy.
I'm picking golfer. I think Jefferson's going to have a big game, and Pollard's going to be a top 3 running back this year, I think. So.
Okay. All right. Zombie.
I got you winning. I think instead of something bad going on Thursday, you'll get something good happen this time.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
And fake Rat.
If the Cleveland Browns defense on Monday night gets 30 points against Kenny Pickett, that will make up. I will forget about Aaron Rodgers last week if that happens. All right. Rat, obviously, your thoughts on our big matchup this week.
With Kelsey back, that's going to help Mahomes. I really do like. I like.
Is it confirmed that he's back though? Is it?
Yeah. I will say I like your team. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. I like Pollard. I think you got a good, like Pusa said, he's going to be up. But I'm worried about Thursday for you because Darius Slay is going to line up Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that will be a big matchup that I'll need to win.
And yeah.
But Darius Slay can't be on both Hawkinson and Jefferson, so hopefully they just go to Hawkinson.
Me and you will have the game of the week.
Okay.
There you go.
Hopefully my boy Elliott can get 20 points against you on Thursday night since you didn't take him in the draft.
I hope he misses a couple of kicks and we still win.
All right. Okay. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We have Bill versus Pussy in a battle of 1-0s that had horrible weeks last week but survived to get victories. So one of them will not do the same this week. All right, now projected only 114 to 106. Pussy, is this your full lineup in here? Only 106?
Yeah,
Jesus
it
Christ.
is.
All
It
right.
is.
Looking at Pussy's lineup, he's got Deshaun Watson on Monday night. God, the PTSD of having a Monday night quarterback. I sure hope to God that doesn't happen to you, Pussy.
Wow.
He also
Don't even
has
put that
he
juju
also
out there.
has Nick Chubb on Monday night. So this matchup should come down to Monday night.
And
Mixon against Baltimore. Jahan Dotson, who had kind of a mediocre game last week against Denver now this week. Godwin against Chicago. Dallas Goedert, newly acquired on Thursday night against Minnesota. Amari Cooper on Monday night as well. So 3 Monday night players. Wow. And Dicker, the kicker, who he picked up against Tennessee. And Denver defense against that Washington team. On the Bills side, he's got Ryan Tannehill, a.k.a. Josh Allen, against the Raiders. We'll see if Josh can bounce back. Need a much-needed bounce back after last week. Stevenson against Miami on Sunday night. Montgomery, who got in the end zone last week, faces Seattle this week. Terry McLaurin against Denver. Hopkins, as long as he plays, against the Chargers. Kelsey, as long as he plays, against Jacksonville. Nico Collins against the Colts, who looked pretty good last week. Got quite a bit of targets. Koo and Buffalo defense against the Raiders. I think this is an interesting one. Interesting matchup. I think both these teams coming off of shit performances will have a little better scores than last week. I think the key to this matchup is going to be, can Pussy get some production out of his wide receivers and his running backs? I think some bounce back games for Goddard on Thursday night. Maybe Cooper gets a bounce back. But I think I'm going to take Bill in a close one. I think if he gets Travis Kelce back, I think that will be what he needs to get. And Josh Allen has a bounce back game. So I'm going to take Bill, but in a close one. I think this one comes down to Monday night. Pussy needs like 50 points between his 3 players, and I think he only gets like 40. So I think he loses just barely. All right, Cheese.
I'm saying it's the same thing I said with Tyler. Josh Allen will bounce back.
Okay.
Stevenson, probably a good game. The Miami run D didn't look great. Monty is fine. I just don't think that Pusa, even the trade, Kelsey being back is going to help Bill.
Yep.
Pusa really needs to rape stack to work. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
He's the whole Browns offense, so that's risky.
Yep.
Take Bill.
Okay. Rat.
I'm gonna take a close one in this, but I do think I favor Bill. I think Josh Allen's gonna put up a good 25. He has Stevenson putting up 15. You got Kelsey back. He's obviously gonna eat, and Pusa obviously relying on Monday night. I don't like Deshaun Watson. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's gonna be the struggles. And John Donson is a player right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Is that really your
So,
best
like, who else
option?
do you have? Go down
He
defense.
I
has
think it is.
Javonte Williams,
Uh-oh.
who he
flip
could
that
put in the
around.
flex.
You could find out.
Well,
You'll
actually, playing
see.
Denver
There's
he's got
defense.
Christian
defense?
Watson if he plays. That could be a
You'll
possible.
see.
Or
There
Jigba,
might be a
who he
different
required.
matchup.
Who's his defense?
Like me, I can
Denver.
move pieces
Oh, he's playing
around, but
Denver. Okay,
we'll
that's
see.
a good matchup versus Washington.
But yeah, it's gonna be close. But
Okay.
Bill's got players coming
Zombie.
back and.
I got Bill winning.
Okay. All right, Pussy. Everyone, I believe,
Fortunate.
said Bill in a close one. Your thoughts? Pulling out the win?
I know I'm gonna have to ride with the Browns
Yeah.
stack this year.
Okay.
Nobody believes in them, so
Okay.
Watson's gonna have to be Watson and
Yeah.
not be not Watson.
Okay. He showed
Um,
he showed a few glimpses last week, but
Yeah,
he also
he
had a
has never
horrible
been
interception.
bad.
Yeah.
He's never been bad.
Okay.
So
Is
I mean, I
that
don't know
kind of
what
like looking at your team, Pussy? Is that kind of your team motto this year? Just don't be bad.
I think Chubb is going to do great things this year.
Okay. All
I
right.
really do.
Well, you think
He's
that
not
every
going to
year.
probably be traded.
Okay.
Well,
He's not going to be
he is
traded.
very good.
Well, you say that
He is
every year,
very
and then you
good.
trade him. Okay.
Well, it's going to take one hell of an offer.
Okay.
Goddard is going to have a bounce back game. He just is. He's
Hold
better
on.
than
Can I ask you a
Pitts.
question about Chubb? A follow up.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Have you offered him to slaps yet?
I have not.
Because every year you
but
guys seem to make a trade where Slaps
but-
ends up getting chubbed down the line. So I was just curious if it's already been offered yet or not. No.
I got
Okay.
a couple slaps ideas.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure you do. Okay. All right. So you're
Yeah.
gonna pull out the win somehow just by not being bad.
No, I'm gonna win. I'm
Okay.
gonna win. I think definitively, actually, and
Oh,
I'm not 100%
definitively.
sure Cancel.
Okay.
I'm actually not 100% sure Kelsey's gonna play.
I'm not
Um,
either. I don't know where this optimism from. I think it's this optimism from Rad is just he's assuming. But okay.
What?
Like
McLaurin
Kelsey's
gets
gonna play.
Patrick
He
Surtain
will.
all game,
I need them.
so I don't think that's gonna be too helpful.
Yeah.
Josh Allen will have a bounce back game.
Wait, you
Stevenson
said-
against Miami.
Oh, you said McLaurin is getting. Okay, so that's why you're
Surtain.
starting Dotson because you think he's gonna get the easier
Yeah,
matchups.
pretty much, yeah.
Didn't they
Okay.
say Kelsey was playing?
Okay.
I thought I saw a report.
He's practicing. He hasn't been confirmed to him.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's questionable.
oh,
Who else is on Bill's team? Can you scroll down?
Hopkins
No.
and Nico
Collins.
Collins.
Really?
I mean, he
Nico
had a
Collins.
decent week one. He got some targets.
I understand, but I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I have a better team on paper. It's just
Okay.
whether they perform or not.
Yeah.
Just
Okay. All right.
it's really what's going to come down.
Yeah,
to. The Browns
that's-
got to be the Browns.
Well, I don't know if you want them to be the
Cooper-
Browns.
Cooper
I don't know.
is good.
Wait. I don't
Cooper
think
is
you
good.
want them to be the Browns. If you want the Browns to be the Browns, then they're going to be ass.
More of the Browns players that I own need to be the players that I
Deshaun
own.
Watson looked like straight
okay.
trash.
Really?
He had a
Because
few
he threw a touchdown,
glimpses.
he didn't rush a touchdown.
Yeah, he had a few glimpses, but then he also had some
What?
bad points.
Like I'm pretty sure he scored. How many points did Watson score last week?
Can I see on here? 20. Yeah, he
20.
had a good game. I think
Yeah.
Zombie's just saying that because of that interception where the ball slipped out of his hand.
I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to run touchdowns in,
Yeah.
and if he doesn't, I have the running back.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think
And your
just the
lineup
thing
could
is
change.
it's the Browns, but they did surprise a lot of people week one, so maybe they continue to do that. So you're gonna need that. Okay.
The Browns won last week, didn't they?
Yes, that's what I just said. They
Tuchel
surprised people
definitely
and
has
beat the
lineup
Bengals.
changes coming. He needs
Okay.
to.
All
They're
right.
going to be 2-0 when they beat Pittsburgh. I mean,
Okay,
They're a
and,
good
and
team.
you'll be 2-0 as well somehow. All right.
yeah.
All
for
right.
sure.
Moving on to the next matchup, we
Oh
have
God.
Ernie versus Zach in the battle
Match of the
of
week.
I would say match of the week, as Zach is looking for a much-needed bounce-back victory after his devastation on Monday night. Ernie looks to keep the train moving after his huge game. He's projected to win right now, 115 to 105. Ernie has Burrow against Baltimore, looking for a bounce back, so he believes in the Burrow bounce back as he's starting him over Trevor Lawrence. Christian McCaffrey against the Rams. Henry against the Chargers. Ridley, after his big game last week, gets the Chiefs, and that should be a good game offense-wise. Mike Williams looking for a bounce back against Tennessee. Laporte still in there against Seattle, and the new Justin Jefferson, Addison still in the flex Thursday night against Philly, so he has a Thursday night player. Tucker against Cincinnati and the Phillies defense as well on Thursday
Let's
night.
go.
So he's got Addison, but then he also has the Philly
Go
Eagles
Birds.
defense. So
Don't.
we'll
Hey,
see if that
it's Ernie.
how that works.
Go
Okay.
Birds.
On Zach's side, he's got the big game Tua on Sunday night against the Patriots. That is a type of game where if Tua's going to get hurt, it would be in that type of game against the
Whoa.
Patriots defense. I'm not saying he's going
Wow.
to get hurt. I'm
Wow.
just saying if
Clip
he
that.
has
Clip
injury concerns,
I need
and
him.
if it was going to happen, this would be the type of game where he could get hurt. So
I really
if he
hope
makes it
does
out of
not.
this game,
Yeah.
then I'll be more of a Tua believer. That's all I'm saying. Jacobs looking for a bounce back, maybe get into the end zone against Buffalo, who gave up a lot to the run this past week against the Jets, so it could be a good matchup. Miles Sanders on Monday night. Jamar Chase looking for a bounce back game, so maybe that's why Ernie's starting Burrow this week to counter the Chase points. That could be a smart play. Debo against the Rams. Coughlin still in there against Dallas. I'm sure he'll switch it for Mark Andrews if he's going to play. So we'll see. Oh, this doesn't show the IR. I was going to say, where the hell is Mark Andrews? We'll see if Zach puts in Zay Flowers after his big week last week. This will really tell you how much Zach is paying attention.
If Zach's alive.
If he makes changes or not, because he definitely has some options on the bench that he could start over some of these guys. Michael Thomas as well on Monday night. Daniel Carlson against Buffalo, and the Chiefs defense
There has
against
to be
Jackson.
somebody better than Tyler Conklin. I'm sorry. There has
Well,
to
yeah,
be.
we got Mark Andrews if he comes back.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying even if
Oh yeah, he's got to make a move if
you got to pick up somebody else. There's got to be
exactly.
some
Now
waiver
with Zach
dudes
Zach
there.
Wilson
only
as the
picked up Conklin
that's
'cause
what
of
I'm
Monday
saying.
Night
We'll
Games.
see. We'll see
Gerald
if
Everett,
we'll see
Zach
how much
Ertz
Zach is
even.
paying attention. That's
Zach
Well,
Ertz had
after
8
that
points.
loss, after that
Zach
loss,
Ertz is
you pay
solid.
attention.
yeah. We'll see how bad if that loss plus him working
His
a lot. If he's
mentality's
just
gone.
like fuck it, I don't really care. But he should care because there's punishments for last place. Anyways, I think it's pretty easy. I think Ernie gets the win. I like Ernie's team a lot more. I think Ernie is making some smart choices with Burrow to counter Chase, with his Eagles defense. So I like Ernie's roster a lot better. So I'm gonna take Ernie in a fairly easy victory and a rough start for Zach this season. Cheese.
It's Ernie. I'm sorry. It has to be.
Okay.
If Zach makes the changes, it could be closer.
Okay.
But Ernie's just a really good team right now. So
Yeah. I think if Zach finds a way to get Zay Flowers in, and if Mark Andrews comes back, I think it will be a lot closer. I agree with you on that. Rat.
I'm gonna predict the score: 150
okay.
to 75.
Wow. So a
Tua
double
gets
digit,
45
double his
points.
points.
And, yeah, Ernie's
Okay.
about to blow him out, and Tua gets most of the points for
Damn.
Tyreek.
Okay.
There we go. And Tua doesn't get hurt, like Golfer said.
Okay.
That's
I didn't
fucked
say
up.
he's gonna get hurt. I said this would be
No.
the type of game that he does
Don't
get
say
hurt.
that. I don't need him to
And
get
he
hurt.
is. Okay. Well, he has a long history of injuries, so.
I don't care. Left-handed
Okay.
man will throw to Tyreek all the day.
Okay. All right. All right. Zombie.
If Zach starts, Zay Flowers, I think he'll win.
Wow. All right. Got someone picking Zach as
Wait,
a
move
bounce
down
back.
a little.
Say
Zay
Flowers.
Flowers, go, go.
So we'll see if Zach's listening. All right. Or if he even cares about Zombie's opinion. Pussy.
I'm picking Ernie here. I'm really scared
Okay.
of Ernie's team. I think Ernie
Yeah.
has a very good team.
Yeah.
And I really don't think Zach's going to try this year after the brutal
Okay.
loss on week 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Ernie
I
also
would
went
agree.
AFK
Ernie's team
during
is
the
looking
draft.
very good.
He went AFK during the draft.
Yeah,
He picked two
I
quarterbacks in
don't
the
really
first.
like
Well,
Addison.
that
to
two
be
quarterback
honest,
move
but,
is looking like it's working out pretty well so far to start this year.
You mean Justin Jefferson?
You don't like Justin Jefferson Jr., even though he had a pretty good game
no,
last
Jordan
week?
Addison,
Yeah, I don't think this is the matchup. If I was Ernie, I would not play him this week, basically just because it's on Thursday night. He's got the Eagles defense. So whatever Addison does is hurting your defense. And do you really want to play two players on Thursday night? I would probably put in, who does he have?
I
I
agree.
mean, he doesn't
Darius
have.
Slay's gonna lock up.
He could play Van
Thursday.
Jefferson. I wouldn't mind
Rashee
that.
Rice.
Or yeah, maybe Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Bourne, his new guy.
Yeah, I would probably lean Van Jefferson, but although they are playing the 49ers, so maybe you're right. Maybe Bourne on Sunday night or something. But I don't know. I don't think it really matters though as much.
Blowout.
I think I would
Sorry,
agree.
Zach.
I think Ernie gets a pretty good sizable win.
Flag.
All right, moving on to the next matchup of the week. We have Pook versus Slaps. Another
gonna be a
good
good one.
battle here. Karma for Anthony Durelli against Finally Hunter's
Okay.
Gone.
Well, we gotta-
Both Pook 0-1, Slaps 1-0, so looking to go 2-0 right now. Does Pook have a hole in his lineup or something? Okay, he doesn't have a
Kicker.
kicker. But even then, I mean, Slap's
Just
still
say 10
projected to
points.
win 115 to probably by about 10 points once he gets the kicker in. Pook benching Justin Fields to start the real Cam
Oh.
Newton, Anthony Richardson. So he's seen enough from Fields after one game. Who does Fields play? Tampa, who look pretty good on defense. So, and against Houston, okay, interesting. We'll see if that move pans out. Gibbs against Seattle. We'll see if he gets more touches. Brian Robinson against Green Bay. Chris Olave against Carolina on Monday night. The new Cooper Kupp 2.0, who looked really good in week 1, got a ton of Cooper Kupp's targets. I'm sure Tyler wishes he had this guy. Naku against the 49ers, though, tough matchup. So we'll see if he's for real or not. If he gets all those targets and gets open against the 49ers, then he's for real. Darren Waller, who had a rough game week 1 against Arizona, good matchup, so he should bounce back. And Pacheco in the flex against Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh defense against Cleveland on Monday night. On Slaps' side, Hurts looking for a bounce back game on Thursday night. So Slaps is going to be a big time Thursday night player as he's got
Look
Hurts
at
and Brown and Swift in there as
Ooh.
well. So a ton of Thursday night players for Slaps in key spots: quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Etienne against the Chiefs. Christian
got a lot of
Kirk.
stacks
See
over
if
here.
he has, yeah, he's got a lot of players on the same teams playing in the same games. So it's either all or nothing. I mean, it's either these games are shootouts and he gets the points, or they're not, and then he's hurt. Kittle looking for a bounce back as well against the Rams. DJ Moore, who he acquired in the flex, so we'll see if he has a bounce back game against Tampa. McPherson against Baltimore, and the Jets. Zach's Crusher, the Jets against the Cowboys. We'll see if they can back up their huge game against the Cowboys and Dak Prescott if he throws a couple more picks to him. I Man, this is a tough one. Pook has some decisions like quarterback. Um, does his Cooper Cup 2.0 have another game? So there's some question marks there. Slaps' team though is really relying on the Jacksonville Chiefs game and the Thursday night game. I do think the Eagles beat the Vikings. I do think it's a pretty decent scoring game for fantasy, although usually Thursday night games are rough for fantasy. I think this one will be a good game for fantasy, so I am going to take Slaps in a close game. I don't know about Swift. I don't know what he's seen from Swift that could say, you know what, let's play him on Thursday night. I mean, if those Thursday night guys do not
If
have a good
Gainwell's
game,
I can't
yeah,
wait to make
Gainwell's
a
out.
comment.
So I'm going to pick Slaps in a close one. I just am not a believer yet in Pook's team. So I haven't seen enough from Pook's players. He's got a lot of young guys that haven't shown up yet. So I'm going to take Slaps in a close one. All right, go ahead, Rat.
I am surprisingly going to take Pook with the
Okay.
upset.
Okay.
I think Gibbs, if he plays more, he's going to do good.
Okay.
I like Olive. Obviously, we all like Olive. And can you scroll down again? I forget who we. The rookie Cooper Cup. Maybe they just keep throwing him, and I think it could work.
Okay.
But here's my hot take for Slap side. He should not start DeAndre Swift. I
Okay.
don't think he's our
Yep.
Philly guy, and yeah, I think Slaps will lose if that happens. I don't like
Okay.
Swift. I like Swift, but not for starting in fantasy.
Okay.
So
He could start
he should,
Mostert, his
he
$30
should go other
Gus.
options.
He does have
I
options.
think it's going to be a close one, but
Okay.
Pook's rookies pop off.
All right. Interesting. Cheese.
Look, Slaps roster decisions are going to kill him again.
Okay.
Swift is either getting like 5 yards or he might pop
He's
off.
getting 5
I
yards.
think you got to start Mostert until, because Mostert will get hurt. It happens. He's already kind of hurt.
Uh-huh.
You
Okay.
got to start him until he
Mostert is
dies.
hurt.
You got to take advantage. I just don't like it. I also don't like, I don't know what that trade was with Rat. I think Rat got the better end. DJ
Okay.
Moore is fool's gold every year for like 3 years in a row now.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the guy that Justin Herbert's throwing to
Okay.
easily. I don't like that. I think Pook, Bijan looked really good. Gibbs is probably better. Richardson looked great. He made the right moves. Waller can only get better. Nakua is, at least what cups out is going to be solid. I just think that, I think he'll overtake. I'm going with Pook.
Okay. All right. Zombie.
I got Slaps winning, although I don't like his wide receivers that much.
Yeah.
Besides
Yep.
Brown.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Kirk is. I guess you
His
kind of have
stack's
to.
pretty ass.
But, like,
He has
Kirk is
Drake
mid.
London, Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, 3 fucking
The
bums.
stack. He
Yeah,
has a
I
lot
mean,
of
it's
stacks.
like-
Too many stacks.
I feel
Yeah,
like
his
with
team is very stack
Kirk-
heavy.
Kirk, you could maybe get a good game out of, but it's going to be a lot more inconsistent now. There's so many people to throw
Ridley,
to in Jacksonville.
God.
Yeah, to me, when I look at Slap's team, over having played with them now for a few years, I could easily, if you showed me Slap's team and didn't tell me who the team was, I could say this is Slap's team's 100%. Because based on how he likes to run his teams, he loves that Eagle stack, and he loves the Etienne, and he loved Christian Kirk because I don't think he realized how good Ridley was, and I think he might have forgot a little bit about Ridley coming back into the
Swift is good
mix.
for goal line
So-
carries.
I mean, ETN is good. Like, that was a good pick this year. It's just that Swift is not it.
Hurts is just our main runner, so he gets fucked on
Swift,
Swift.
Swift,
Yeah,
Swift,
and I don't know why he traded away the Keenan Allen for
Keenan Allen is
DJ
a
Moore.
lot better
I don't know,
option.
which is weird because Slaps always goes off of recency biased. So him seeing DJ Moore have a stinker first game, I'm shocked he bought low, but he didn't really even buy low because he gave up a
Yeah,
lot.
I feel like you
So,
could have given up less. Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
I
Keenan
I
Allen had looked like
I
a
think
solid W wide receiver 2.
yeah,
Even
I
wide receiver 1.
I will say he got obviously the better running back. Gainwell is going to take over Swift, so Swift
yeah, but
could
that
be
ain't
seeing
helping
a
him
bench
this
from
week.
him. Well, this week, yeah, but
I,
Okay.
I,
Saints
I don't
guy.
know why you
I'm
want,
sorry.
like, I don't know. I feel like you're limiting yourself with Hurts.
One bad
And
Eagles game and half his roster is.
I'm
I
rooting
also,
for
I
Slav,
even think,
but
I
Puke
even think
wins.
with a good Eagles
There.
game, what
That's
happens when
my
Hurts
what I'm saying.
vultures 2 TDs and
Fuck
then
Puke,
Yep,
but he wins.
that's true.
AJ Brown gets the other, your running back's useless. I don't know. Just
Yep.
it's a lot of limiting.
I agree. All right, Pussy,
Poor
who's
Slav.
winning?
Slaps is gonna win.
Okay.
And,
Wow. A lot of people
I'm
picking
not
Slaps.
going out to trade with him before tomorrow's game.
Okay, of course not. Of
Nick
course.
Chubb.
Yep, Nick Chubb coming his way he's going to hear all this about his running back situation and he's going to go, "I need Nick Chubb now." And there will be Pussy waiting. All right. All right, moving on to the final matchup of the week. Cheese coming off a bad beat last week, scoring a lot of points but losing. Zombie coming off his lucky win in week 1 on Monday night. Cheese right now projected to get the win 116 to 112 over Zombie. Cheese has Jordan Love, newly acquired off the waivers. A healthy Aaron Rodgers. Wow, too soon, Cheese. Too soon on the Aaron Rodgers. Against Atlanta could be a good matchup for him to have another solid game. Barkley against Arizona also could be decent for a bounce back Giants game. Aaron Jones, as long as he plays, could have a good matchup as well. The Sun God against Seattle, who looked to give up a lot through the air last week, so that could be good. Ayuk finally in there after benching him last week against the Rams. Evan Ingram against the Chiefs could be decent. Jerry Jeudy, who he acquired, Slaps finally found somebody to trade Jerry Jeudy to. He's questionable. We'll see if he plays against Washington. Tyler Bass against the Raiders, and the 49ers defense against the Rams. On Zombie side, he's got Justin Herbert against Tennessee. Eckler, assuming he plays against Tennessee. If he doesn't, then he doesn't have Kelly, so he'll have to use somebody else. Who does he have on his bench? He said Khalil
Chuba Hubbard,
Herbert.
baby.
Khalil Herbert would probably get in there against Tampa, maybe. Jamal Williams on Monday night against Carolina. You'll see if he shows some more because he didn't do much last week. Garrett Wilson against Dallas. We'll see how Zach Wilson affects Garrett Wilson's points. You know, Garrett Wilson is still a good enough receiver to get the 10 to 15 point range even with Zach Wilson throwing the ball. The question is, can Garrett Wilson get the huge games that he probably would have got with Aaron Rodgers? That will be yet to be seen. Jalen Waddle on Sunday night against Patriots. Hopefully Bill Belichick will see what Tyreek Hill did last week, and in Bill Belichick fashion, he usually tries to take out the best player. So hopefully he'll see what Tyreek Hill did last week and say, you know what, we're putting all of our coverage on Tyreek Hill to not beat us. So then Jalen Waddle hopefully
Well, Waddle
will pop
was
off.
oblique, right, or something?
Yeah.
He was hurt.
Well, yeah, for some of the game, yeah. Schultz against the Colts. He didn't do jack shit last week, so we'll see if he has a bounce back game against the Colts. Devontae Smith, who had a good game, he goes Thursday night. And Moody, who he picked up against the Rams, and the Saints on Monday night against Carolina. All right. Man, this is a decent one. I think Cheese has some good matchups. I think he also gets some bounce back performances from a couple of his guys. I don't know about Jeudy in the flex. Not really a believer in that necessarily, especially when he has some options. But I am going to predict, assuming Aaron Jones plays, I'm going to predict Cheese to get the narrow, close victory. I think this is a decent scoring matchup, like a 125 to 120 type game, assuming Aaron Jones plays. If Aaron Jones doesn't play, then Zombie's going to win. But I will predict Cheese to get a close victory and both these teams to be 1-1 after this week. Rat.
I am going to pick Cheese. I think Jordan Love. We do like Jordan Love. I will say that.
Okay.
Barkley's not going to have another stinker. I like Barkley. Jones, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
St. Brown I love. I've always liked St. Brown. He's going to
Everybody loves St. Brown.
demolish.
Everybody wants him.
Who else does he have playing?
Ayuk finally back in there.
Yup.
The only thing that
Could've been in
worries
there
you
week
about
one.
Ayuk is he just had the huge
Yeah.
game that Cheese benched him for, so now that Cheese puts him in
Yeah,
there,
but
is it
Hey,
a
but
Debo
I
Samuel
don't
type
need.
game?
Look, I don't need like
I
30.
agree.
Like if he puts like 15, we're
Okay.
still chilling.
Okay.
Russell
We're not
Wilson,
mad at
let's
that.
ride. Russell Wilson, right? We're gonna ride
Yeah,
with Jerry
let's
Judy.
ride, baby.
Yeah, I don't know about
And
that.
then
What's
the only
wrong with
reason I
Judy?
see Zombie not being
He never is
is
healthy.
Well,
oh,
golfer, you don't believe in your own
possibly.
strat that eventually
No.
he has to stay healthy.
No, because that ain't
Well,
that was my strat of not actually strat.
Zombie's too weak in
You know how
some
many
spots
times
to be
Slaps tried to offer me Jerry Judy
Dalton
this season?
Schultz. Trash.
Hell no.
Dalton
Okay.
Schultz is trash. Jamal
Okay.
Williams trash. Garrett Wilson is gonna suck. It's gonna be all Brees Hall
Wow.
show,
Okay.
and it's gonna be the Tyreek show. So
Okay, I'm noticing a trend in your
and
predictions, Rat. You tie all your predictions into the players that you have on your team. It's
well,
very
okay.
interesting.
Also, but Eckler might be out too, so that does not
Okay.
help
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
So it all depends on who's healthy too. But Devontae Smith's gonna pop off. There you go.
Okay. All right. So you're picking Cheese. All right.
Yes. By
Pussy.
I'm gonna pick Cheese. I think Aaron Jones needs to stay healthy, however, to win.
Yes. Okay. I agree.
Like
All right. Cheese. Are you gonna get the bounce back win?
I think I will.
Okay.
Excited about my team. You know, if Jones goes down, I spent the big bucks on Kyron. Hopefully he gets. I know it's San Francisco. He might just get like a touchdown.
Yeah.
Get like 9 points for me. Judy's in there right now. I'm gonna monitor his health, obviously.
Okay.
I saw reports that he could have gone last week, but they didn't want to make it worse.
Yeah.
Russell, unlike Drake London, Russell Wilson throws the football to his players. So I mean, Sutton did well last week, and Judy's better than Sutton. So
Okay.
I'm hoping. I mean, and Judy popped off last when he was healthy, obviously. If not,
Which was
Lockett.
far
I could run it back.
between. Okay.
I could run back
the
Lockett.
golfer's like shitting.
It was just an overall bad game for Seattle. It's probably get better for them. So
Talk shit on Zombies team, buddy. Don't let it slide.
I mean, Herb was good. Eckler might not go. I don't know why you didn't get Kelly. That's an easy replacement if Eckler can't go.
Yeah.
Javante, I don't know. I don't know about Javante.
Oh,
Not loving that.
It's
Garrett
Jamal.
Wilson.
It's Jamal, not
Sorry,
Javante.
Jamal.
Javante Williams.
I'm sorry, Jamal.
Wrong
Apologize.
Williams.
That's the other black guy.
Garrett,
Oh.
obviously, is a big
It's the other
guy,
black
so
running back that was mediocre
a
week
really good player. Waddle, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm just not loving the team over
Schultz
there.
is
Okay.
there.
All right.
I think it's Zombie's team is still better than some other teams. but
Yes. Okay.
Good point. Good
It's a very
point.
solid team, but
All
I
right.
don't know. I like my matchups.
Okay. All right. Zombie, you getting the win to go 2-0?
Yeah, I'm gonna beat Cheese. All his players are gonna put up stinkers.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. They're all gonna put up
I said
stinkers.
that about Aaron Jones.
Wow. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. So just to wrap it up here, looking at the standings, obviously after a very interesting week one with the 1 p.m. games were shit, and then the 4 p.m. games were a little bit better. Well, hopefully they'll all be higher scoring for fantasy. We have Rat in the top spot on points 4 after edging out Ernie for the most. Then Ernie, Zombie, Slaps, Pussy, Bill, and then if the playoffs started, obviously after week 1, Cheese would get in, even though he's 0-1 because he scored the most out of the losing teams. So that is how it looks after a week 1. Obviously, a lot of games left to go, and we will keep an eye on all the matchups and the players. Everyone keep an eye on your lineups, make sure they're all set, and we will see how the game starts on Thursday night, and we'll catch you back here next week for a recap of everything.
Go Birds.